Hey, everybody. Another exciting episode of the Brofessionals.
Four clones. Four clones.
The Brofessionals is a rotating show that goes on Aaron's channel, Andy's channel, Dan's channel, my channel, Billy Tucci's channel, and Art T. Bear's channel. So if you haven't subscribed to all of those, do so you don't miss out on an episode. Tonight we have What's that?
We're the Baldfessionals tonight. That's all we got.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. We're clones. We're of the same ilk from different times.
We are.
Well, tonight we're going to be meeting Hela, the goddess of death. And what does that mean? Ooh. That means that we're going to make all of you feel really good because of all the stupid things we've done in our lives that have either come close to killing us or close to maiming us. So this should be a lot of fun. And Art T. Bear has just checked in. Hello, Art.
Whoa, there's Art.
Good to see you.
He ruined it. He brought the hair in and ruined it.
Still haven't shaved your head, I see.
Yeah. And we also have a special bro today. We have the one and only David Brohawk Williams is with us.
Yes.
D-Wayne.
David D-Wayne.
Look at your stage. Are you kidding me?
I hear you. What's happening?
Okay.
What's happening?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see y'all. Finally got a bro on the show.
Japanese movie.
That was some Morris Day stuff right there.
What kind is it? Yeah. Now the guys in the chat watching
the time is right now, baby.
Now the guys in the chat can't give us crap for being old white guys. So
there. Brought a little color to the show.
Finally got a bro on the show.
That's
now
right.
True bro. Now it's a true professional show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. I'll be the color commentary.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one with hair, David.
There you go. There you go.
All right, gang. I think what we'll do is we'll start with near-death experiences. These are the stupid things that could have gotten you killed. So we'll start with Andy, and we'll move down, and we'll go across to Dan, then Art, and then David, and then up to me. After that, we'll do stories about things that almost got us maimed.
Because I've got one of those too.
We're all dudes, man. We've all done these stupid things. You know?
I've got one of those too, actually.
Yeah. So you guys in the chat, hit your like and subscription buttons if you haven't done so already, and use the super chats if you have questions you want to ask, so we can keep these things monetized, keep doing these fun shows for you. So without further ado,
let's go right now. Like, see this? I lost a finger.
Oh no!
That would be my big joke anymore. That's just.
That would be my naming.
Oh gosh!
All right, Andy, you're up.
Okay. I'm assuming most of this stuff for us all involved when we were teenagers, but maybe not. But
yes,
I was my best friend and I, the guy I've known since like third grade. Where I grew up, everybody was into cars and stuff. And we were driving around in his 1970 GTO, and we were on the top of a parking deck at a mall that was rather empty. And he was driving, and I said, "Dude, you know what I've always wanted to do?" And he's like, "What?" I said, "I've always wanted to jump out of a moving car." And he's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, how hard can it be? You see him do it on TV and movies all the time. You just have to roll, right?" So. He's like, "Well, how fast?" I was like, "I don't know, just 10 to 15. I don't want to get too crazy here." So this is, a concrete parking deck. He's going like between 10 and 15, which doesn't seem fast until you open the door and you look down. And I was like, all right, it's kind of like I've never gone skydiving. And I heard your story, Dan, when you were talking to Michael about it, how you went. And I thought, well, you just kind of have to jump.
Yeah.
So I just dove out and tucked and rolled, and it hurt like hell. I busted up my shoulder. I didn't break anything, luckily, but I definitely got some road rash from the concrete through my shirt. Banged my head. I didn't go. I hit the arm first because I rolled with it and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that was dumb. That could have ended really bad. And then one more real quick, because that's not super death defying. I mean, I've been in auto accidents, but I don't even count those.
Well, wait, just the one story, and we'll go around, then we'll come back for another one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wait,
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's it's kind of boring, but that's about it.
This is the near death, though. This is the one that almost killed you, right? That's the one we're doing right now.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah. Even my worst auto accident wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's an accident. You can't count that.
Right. That's just it. This I did on purpose.
Something you actually made a conscious decision to do.
Right. And that's this. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, you're up.
This isn't quite as elaborate as Andy's, so I may get the thumbs down on this, but it's something I've never forgotten, because it was like one of those moments where you're like 3 seconds after it happened, you're like, I came this close to being killed. So and it's a really simple story. Out in the at the end of my street, there was growing up, there was an intersection there, and there's a main thoroughfare street that my street butted into, right? And it goes kind of like this. There's hills, drop-offs on either side, right, where the crosswalks are. And I was on my bike, and I was in grade school. And I don't know, I mean, I was always raised to look both ways. You know what I mean? And I don't know what I was thinking, but apparently I thought there was nothing coming. And so I just kind of got tunnel vision and just started going across this big, it's a 4-lane, road. And I'm about to the other side. It was kind of like an Edith Keeler moment. I was about to the other side of the road, and I hear this screeching, right? And I turn back over my shoulder to look. And this guy or woman, I don't know, in a what are those? Not a van, but a station wagon, had swerved all the way over into the other side of the road to keep from hitting me, and was screeching and going around like that. And as a kid, you sit there and you don't think much about it. But then I looked and I realized, it was like, holy crap! If I had gone like 2 seconds before or later than I did, I probably would have got plowed. It was just one of those things where it happened so fast. You didn't, it wasn't like, it was one of those terrifying moments after the fact, because you stopped and realized what had just happened and how close I came to getting run over by a car. And that would have been it. Mm-hmm. This show would not be the same.
No.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that always stuck in my mind, even from just childhood, that I still can see that happening. And it was just like in slow motion. You're like, I'm going to die. And then I didn't, because they swerved out of the way just in time. But
Aaron still has nightmares.
Yeah. So there it is.
All right, Dan.
I have visuals.
Oh, shit.
No,
don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Oh, look at that.
No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Okay, so I grew up in a town called Martinez, California. Not a lot of famous stuff other than that Joe DiMaggio retired and lived in our town. And this house here belonged to John Muir. That's John Muir's house. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because my buddies and my favorite spot to go to when I was a kid was this train trestle right here.
Oh, no.
In fact, if you ever read my comic, The Grave, the kids, when they go to the throne, they actually go through this tunnel right here. And I have all kinds of photos from shooting that location, because I like grounding a lot of my stories in reality. So anyway, this train trestle has kind of always been the site of when we were seniors, whenever you were graduating seniors, some sort of prank had to happen, kind of revolving this trestle, because my high school was only about a quarter mile down the road going south, right? So anyhow, my buddies and I decide, why don't we, because let me rewind. The prior year, somebody had stole the inflatable Ronald McDonald from a McDonald's, the big, like, sometimes it's a big gorilla, but sometimes it's an inflatable Ronald. They stole the Ronald and they hung it from the trestle. Okay? So my buddies and I, we said, why don't we do something that's more shocking? You know, like a big Ronald McDonald that's glaring. But why don't we hang a fake body? You know, like, so it looks like somebody hung themselves. Obviously, I would never do this now. Chalk it up to dumb teenager. So I get all my old clothes that don't fit me, and I stuff them into this body, and I put shoes on it, and we get this thing. It looks really real. We hop on my motorcycle. My buddy's behind me. The dummy's between us. It looks like 3 people on this motorcycle. You park over here. You climb up the hill, and we are going to hang the dummy right here, right? So it's right in the middle, because to get on the freeway you have to go this way, and when you get off the freeway you're here. So a lot of eyeballs. So we're like, hell yeah, let's hang it. And I wanted to create like bones, like a hanger, right? So when it hung, it didn't look like cloth; it looked like a dude, you know. So I made it out of one of those plastic hangers that you get, right? Like the tube hangers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we run on the hanger. We got it going. We're laughing. We think it's great. This is like 5 a.m. It breaks and falls down, and we're like, fuck. So we run down here. As we are right about here, we see the light of a train coming down this tunnel. We're about here, and you have to get to here, and we're like, are we going to make it from here to here before that comes to here, you know?
Like Stand By Me.
Yeah, very.
I was just about to.
And we barely made it, and we were thinking, oh my God, thank you, Jesus, for that hanger snapping, because if it didn't, we would have been here.
You would have to jump.
No, there would have been no. There's
fast.
no way. There's no way, because this thing. Look at that. Look at all that. Right? There's no way. That goes up to the 4 freeway. So needless to say, we were like, oh my God, that's amazing. You know, and this is graduation morning, you guys. This is June 1991. Anyhow,
Karma train.
we agreed that no other train would probably be coming in the next 5 minutes. So we ran back up.
Oh my gosh!
We attached the rope instead of on the hook part of the hanger. We wrapped it around the shoulder so it would be good, and we hung it. And it was the talk of the town. It made the paper. Mysterious body, not a suicide. Blah blah blah.
Almost 3 mysterious bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but that was it.
Gag. You really commit to a gag, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
All right, Art, you're up.
Oh my gosh. I have some visuals as well. Let me see.
No.
I love this.
Visuals are good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can you see this?
Yep.
All right. This place called Golf and Stuff, and you might know it better because it was used in this movie here. Yeah.
No way. Is that American Graffiti? Or no, that was the Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had like Mark Twain adventures when I was a kid, but it was all in the Los Angeles riverbed. So they had like flood control in Norwalk. I lived in a suburb of LA, and so we would always just kind of ride our bikes. Like bicycles, when I was a kid in mid 70s, it was freedom. It was freedom until you actually got your car.
Skateboards.
And so we would ride miles, and Golf and Stuff wasn't that far from my house, but behind Golf and Stuff was there's farms. So in the day there used to be farms, and all of like around Norwalk was I guess cows, like what do you call those dairies?
A pasture,
dairies.
dairy.
Yeah, and so Yeah, so we had dairies. So we used to just ride our bike, and the whole rule was you have to be back before sundown, right, for dinner. That was it. Like you were out on your own all day.
Mhm.
And so we would just go out and ride the riverbed and have like all kinds of adventures. There were frogs you could catch. I mean, it was really kind of like, it was as close to like a Mark Twain, kind of, Huck Finn kind of adventure. And it was all concrete though.
Yeah, in downtown LA, right?
Yeah, so we were riding our bike, and there was a hole in this fence, and there was a strawberry patch right behind golf and stuff, just a massive strawberry patch. So we're thinking, oh, we could just go in there and we could like pick a bunch of strawberries and just have a great old time. So me and my friend, right? And so there was like chain link fence, and it had like barbed wire on top, but part of it had eroded, so little kids could kind of get under the chain link fence. So we parked our bike, we went under there, and we're looking for the good strawberries, right? So then these Hispanic fellows were like, hey, get out of here. And we're like, no, free country. We're just like belligerent little kids. It's like what to you, man? It's just a couple strawberries. And then we probably said some other stuff too, but they got in this pickup truck, and then they came after us. And so we're running. We're pretty far from our bikes at this point. We're running. Those guys are hightailing it. And I'm not kidding. There was a guy in the back of that flatbed truck, and he's shooting at us. This is like from another time, like another world.
Was it an assault gun? Was it assault gun?
Yeah, it was assault gun, but we didn't know that. Like,
that was a thing back in the day. Security, they were allowed to shoot us kids with those assault guns.
Yeah, we were freaking booking it, right? Me and my friend.
Wait, what did shoot out? I don't think I've ever heard.
Rock salt.
Rock salt.
Yeah.
No.
And
under the skin, and it burns like hell.
So bad.
Yeah, we got whacked with it. That's the near death. Like we're like running. We're like, Pop, we're like getting shot with this shit. We're like,
oh my god!
And then you know
burning.
that cliche. Like you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be faster than that guy,
right.
that one guy, the slow guy. And so all I kept remembering is I have to be faster than him and get in front of him, and I did. But I had already got whacked. So then we come to the place where our bikes are. We run. I just dove under the fence, right? And so my friend, who was already, he got hit bad, and he comes up short of the fence. And those like how chain link it's not finished, and it has a little thing. Like the bottom and the top has that. Mm-hmm. And he comes up short of it and comes up right on the fence.
Fuck.
And just like whack, hard. And then I just remember him like pulling his head, and you could see the skin, like and his hair and everything. And then there's this blood everywhere. So they're still shooting at us through the fence. So we get on the bike, and we're just like booking it. And so finally we got enough distance from it. And then we're like, okay, now we can assess the damage. We both had holes in our shirts. We both had like blood, and it was burning. Like we're just kind of trying to rub it out, like the pain. But oh my God, backs of his arm, his legs, his shoulder.
Oh my God.
You have any scars from it?
I probably do. Yeah. I also had scoliosis as a kid, so I have a major scar. My whole length of my back. So I think that's the least of my scars as far as.
And Art never ate strawberries again.
I don't like them. You know what?
Yeah, I guess not.
I don't like them.
Worth
I never thought about that.
Salty aftertaste to them.
Yeah.
They taste like
strawberries are so salty.
They taste like pain and suffering. Yeah. So. If we want to get into more like maiming and hospital visits, I have some of those stories too.
All right.
We got to get to David. We got to get to David's and Graham.
Yeah. All right, D-Wams, you're up.
Y'all ready for this? Okay.
I'm sitting down.
It's better be good.
Okay. Dan Frager might know this story. This happened in '88. I was driving over to San Mateo because I used to live in Hayward, California.
Yeah.
And I had this '69 Volkswagen, and I had it designed to look like a Batmobile.
No
So
way.
Why am
I
I
had
not surprised?
I had the bat symbols on the side, and it was black. It had the red bat symbols on it, and I was, this is before the Prince Bat Dance came out. I was Batman down. I think I even had a Batman cut into my hairdo at the time. So
Yes.
I was one of the pioneers of that. I'm pretty sure I was the first. So anyway, so I'm driving over to San Mateo with a friend of mine, Danny Montenegro. May he rest in peace. And we were going over to visit Derek Robertson. You know who Derek Robertson is?
Mhm.
Space Beavers.
He's the Space Beaver co-creator of The Boys and Transmetropolitan and all that type of stuff. Great artist. So we're going over there to visit. I had some of my latest comic book pages and whatnot. And halfway on the bridge, my hood popped up.
Oh no.
And so on a Volkswagen, it's the front hood that pops up.
Yeah.
So I'm driving blind. So it's probably about 7:00 at night. And so I immediately pull over, but you can't pull over. There's no place to pull over. It's a 2-lane highway going over this bridge. So I tell Danny to get out and go push one of the service lights so somebody could help us, navigate us off this bridge safely. But I wanted to put the hood down. So I go into the car where the hood is, and I had a laser tag game in there, one of those guns and stuff like that. And for some reason I had some string, and I think it was a string to a jacket or something like that. So I said, I got to do something just to put this, this hood down and just lock it down, because the lock was broke. And I didn't understand why the front hood lock was broke. And what had happened is that the place where I got my car painted, they didn't assemble the lock back properly.
Oh.
Right? So I'm trying to lock this down as best I can before somebody comes and tows this car, off to the other side, or however it would go down. But before I know it, I look up in the sky and I go, why is it so cold? Why am I freezing? Can somebody please close the door? It's just so cold. I need a blanket. And I hear people yelling at me, and they're like, David, David. And I look up and I just see some people who are backlit, right? And they're backlit by this light, and they're calling my name, David, David. And I realize it's my friend Danny. And I look up at him and I said, hey, Danny, what are you doing in heaven? Because it looks like he was flying, right? And then I realized, why am I so cold? I can't get warm. I was in the water.
No.
Because a bus, while I was in front of my car, a bus came and hit the back of my car and knocked me into the San Mateo Bay. And so luckily it was low tide. It's not all that deep to really drown in, but I think it gets to about like 5-6 feet. But if you're knocked out, you can drown in that, right? But what happened was I landed, like, if you ever go to the beach and you have a stick and you throw it in the sand and it sticks in the sand, that's how my feet stuck into this mud, right? And so I'm there and people are trying to keep me awake and all this kind of stuff. So they're all the way up on. I still don't realize that I'm in dire need of help. I'm still thinking I just need a blanket, right? And I'm thinking that these are angels up there just trying to get my attention. So a helicopter goes to the wrong bridge because they got the wrong information. So it took them longer to come and get me. And so when the person who gets out of the helicopter, who lands on the water and everything, he thinks that it's, oh, I could walk over to him. Look, he's standing up. He immediately gets out and sinks right in over his head, because there's these little sinkholes all over the place. And I was stuck on a little hill. Boop. If I was a inch or a foot over, I'd be over. I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
And
How far did you get knocked by that car when the car whacked into you? How far did you get? Did you sail over the bridge and like, how
it was
high
pretty
up
far. My friend Danny used to tell me I look like someone kicked a football through a field goal.
Oh, crap!
Yeah. So I was pretty out there and stuff like that. And so
that's a good one.
When it ain't done. when I finally get to the hospital, of course they're trying to keep me awake, but I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. There's no, you got to stay awake, and I'm like, quit with me. I want to go to sleep. No, you can't go to sleep. So I finally get to the hospital, and I would always have this habit of either having my wallet in my front pocket or I'd put it in the glove compartment, right? So apparently, for some reason, I had these tight pants on back in the day. That's when they had some tight pants. So I couldn't have my wallet. I couldn't have my wallet in my, front pocket with these tight pants. So I put it in the glove compartment. So I'm at the hospital. So the first person that comes to see me is a policeman. And he's there to give me a ticket for not having my wallet.
Oh. Insult to injury.
And I'm like,
glad you're alive. By the way, here's your ticket.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's in my glove compartment. Well, my car is crushed, so it's jammed in there. So they had to wait a whole day to jimmy it out and all this other kind of stuff.
Wow.
And the only thing that survived from that car in pristine was the door that I had the bat symbol on, and I wanted to keep it. I said, "Hey, Mom, make sure I get that door." And she said, "Absolutely not," because she didn't want to have no memory because she saw me in the hospital.
Wow.
And here's another thing: while I was in the hospital, since my wallet was in there, I couldn't show proof of insurance, so they wanted to send me home.
Wow.
Jesus.
And the thing was also, I had a broken jaw, 6 broken teeth, lacerations, all this kind of stuff that was going on. My jaw was literally hanging on my chest as I was laying down, and they wanted to send me home with some ibuprofen.
Oh
my God.
So,
hey, David, just walk it off. Walk it off.
Rub some dirt and dirt on it.
So Graham,
David,
let me see you top this. Let me see you top this.
Did the FAA fine you for not filing a flight plan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I was just gonna say, did you kick the winning, field goal? Like,
Oh my gosh. This is such a David Williams story, man. It
It really is.
Great story.
This is the only thing that would happen to David Williams. I mean, you and your stories, man, amazing.
I like how he tied it into comic books, though.
Let's try to get the Batman angle.
Yeah.
I was impressed with.
Batman almost killed him. Okay.
I was impressed with Dan's story, and then Art took it up a notch, and then David said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
I know my story's lame. I need to go home. I'm just gonna like tune out, man.
I know.
Come and bring
All right,
it,
Graham, it's
Graham.
up to you.
Come on.
I'm up. Well, I don't know if I can beat that story, but mine is somewhat similar to Andy's in that I was going out with a friend, and we were going to go to a movie, and we were going to take the driveway to our high school, which is right behind the movie theater. It's a long driveway. He had a Carmen Ghia, if you guys remember what that was, and like the old VWs, it had a running board on it. Now, I'm a big Doc Savage fan, so I figured, well, I'm going to do my best Doc Savage impression. So I get out on the running board of this car, and I'm holding on to it. I'm doing, my Doc Savage move. And we're driving along for some reason, and I still don't know to this date why he slammed on the brakes, but he did. And I went flying off that running board, landed on my feet, but kept, we were going about 30 miles an hour.
Oh,
And I went ass over elbows, head and shoulders into the asphalt, and rolled and rolled and rolled, knocked out cold. So, like David, it was completely black, and then all of a sudden lights started coming on. I could hear voices saying, "Is he alive? Is he alive?" And then I open up my eyes, and all these people are standing around looking at me. My friend Andy grabs me, really smart thing to do with a guy who's just been knocked out, grabs me, picks me up, throws me into the Carmen Ghia. And does he take me to the hospital? No, I got asphalt sticking out of my head. I got asphalt out of my shoulders. My shirt is torn. I got blood coming down to my head. We went to the movie.
When you're young, the first thing you think of is you got to cover it up, right? You have to cover it up because if your parents find out, they're going to crucify you.
Well,
we went to the movie. Guys went to the movie?
Yeah, we went to the movie. And so
see?
I go into the movie theater, and the ticket guy is looking at me, and I look like that dude from American Werewolf in London. I got the blood coming down my head, and the guy says, "Hey, man, what the hell happened to you?" I'm like, "Just take my ticket." And went into the movie theater. I don't even remember what movie it was because I had a concussion.
Oh my God!
I was
American Werewolf in London,
and I had to stay awake because I knew it would be bad if I fell asleep with a concussion. So I get home, and I'm like, "Okay, now what am I going to do?" So I told my mom I got into a fight because she'd believe that over the stupidity of my action. I just was pretending to be Doc Savage and.
I'm sure the asphalt and you're stuck in your head probably didn't,
Well, I cleaned that out. I think we stopped and we, got some stuff and cleaned it out, so that it wasn't quite as bad as when I first went into the movie theater. But yeah.
Oh, jeez. That is bad.
Yeah. Stupid decisions.
Oh, good Lord.
All right. You got another one, Andy?
Actually, I was going to move on to the maiming because I've got two of those. So the next time
go
around,
ahead. Go ahead to maim.
Is maiming losing a limb or what?
No,
it's
possible.
Well, it's the potential to lose one.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's potential.
All right.
Like you're axe throwing and you cut your, something happens,
So
okay.
I was at my buddy's house who owned the GTO, and he was working on his car. Once again, 17. I think I was 17, and I was working on my car. Then I had a new set of tires to put on, and it was a 1978 two-door Chevy Monza that had a 350 in it that we worked on and stuff because we were into racing and whatnot. So you remember the old jack back there was just like that stick that you went under the bumper, just
Yep.
So I had it jacked up, and I was I got the lug nuts off. And I'm kind of having to jerk the tire. And as I'm doing it, the car just moves forward off the jack and pins my drawing hand between the tire and the car.
Oh.
And I it's so funny because I've always been pretty calm in these situations. And I just go, "Hey, Alan, I need you over here." And he goes, "Dude, I'm doing something." "What?" And I said, "No, I kind of need you over here now." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "My car fell on my hand." And he's like, "What?" He comes running over. He grabs the back of the jack because it's like this, and he just pulls it back. And I pull my car out. My freaking thumb is like 4 times the size. It is just huge. It's bleeding. We went to the ER. They took X-rays. Unbelievably, nothing was broken. And they just basically bandaged it up and said, you just got to ice it and stuff, and the swelling will eventually go down. But
that's scary.
Oh yeah, especially it was my drawing hand, and I was like,
exactly.
Oh no. So, and it was slow motion. Like I don't know how fast it actually happened, but it was just and back wheel well, tire, car smash. So.
Wow.
Your luck.
All right, Aaron, you got another one, or you get or a maiming one?
Mine are so lame. I feel embarrassed almost to.
I don't know. That was pretty lame.
No, that. Hey, car falls in your arm. That's pretty good, actually.
That is
Yeah,
good.
but those are accidents. I'm talking. What we're supposed to be doing is telling stories about our stupidity, decisions we made.
Well, that was. I mean, yeah, but like, I know what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't have any maiming ones from decisions.
Well, it is stupid because the rule isn't it always when you jack up your car, you put the tire under the car. So if it falls down, it's going to fall on the tire, or you put a brick or something like that.
Well, you put something under the front wheel so that it can't move forward.
Yeah,
Right.
or
So
also if it does fall, it's going to fall on that instead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do
Okay, there's your stupidity. Got it.
right.
I'm
See?
trying to help you, Andy.
No, I appreciate it. I did not do that.
Look at Art throwing a lifeline.
Okay. Now, can I count just my stupidity or my older brother's stupidity?
Oh, that counts.
Because he almost maimed me multiple times. The dumbest thing I ever did that almost could have been really catastrophic, but we had a big field behind our house, right? That would occasionally we'd turn into a garden, right? So it would be all tilled up and you'd have flat dirt back there. And we would we set up a pole vaulting thing and things like that to do like track and field. So one day, for some reason, I wanted to kind of like thinking, I want to try and throw the javelin, right? Well, I didn't have a javelin. So like a dumb idiot, I took a spade, one of those, the rounded, sharp shovel things, right? And so I wind up and toss this thing and it just goes straight up in the air. I mean, I could feel it. I lost it, right? And so I didn't know what to do. So I did this, right there. And it landed and stuck in the ground like 6 inches from me. I mean, I was that close to getting like split in half by this thing. So it was another one of those close calls. But if you want some pain and suffering, here's a couple. I'll go in here real quick. We were, I don't know, maybe I might have been kindergarten or maybe first or second grade. I was young, right? My brother's 2 years older than me. The electricity went out in our house, right? So we had the fire going in the fireplace, and we're all standing around warming our hands in the fire. And like a dumbass, he just shoves me into the fire. So I go both hands into the fire like this, right? Tried both my hands on the coals.
Jeez.
We had no power, right? So we ended up having to go to my aunt's house, who lived, and you can imagine the pain I'm in, right?
How do you not have scars from that?
No, it's amazing. But he got the tar beat out of him by my mom, and that was like almost enjoyable. I get along great with my brother now, don't get me wrong, but at the time I was like, it was almost worth the pain to see him get the tar beat out of him like he did.
Well, Aaron, I want to beat the tar out of your brother now.
And then we were, how about this for dumb? We were sword fighting with wires. And he jabbed me right in the eye and just barely missed my pupil. So I got stuck right in the corner of my eye, but I did not go blind. So those are my major maiming events.
Ouch.
Man. And eyes, that's the good thing about eyes, man. They heal up really well. I fell in a rose bush once.
As long as you don't get it, yeah. As long as you get the white.
Yeah, in the white. I remember I fell in a rose bush one time, and I was blinking and wondering why my eye wouldn't close, and I went inside and I had a thorn stuck in the side of my forehead. I mean, I have this scar. I don't know if you could see it on my middle finger. See that line?
From flipping off people too much?
No. This is when I was 6. I tried to take a bottle cap off a broken bottle. Somebody must have dropped a bottle because the bottle cap was still on the top of it, and I collected bottle caps, and I thought, hey, maybe I can get that bottle cap off that broken bottle top. Well, the thing shattered in my hand, and one of the pieces went through my finger. So it went all the way through. Like I could hold it up, and it looked like a tomahawk, And I remember thinking, well, that was dumb. And going home, it's the first time I ever got stitches. But the one that came to mind when you said maiming, even though it's not really maiming, but it was a weird story. When I was a kid, I sent off a lot of submissions to Eclipse. Oh God!
Whose is that? Yours?
No.
Did you just find that somewhere?
No,
must have
I'll
been
get to it
Graham.
later.
Yeah, but anytime the mail carrier would be coming, I would run to the house excited. Hopefully there'd be a response letter, and we had sort of a short wooden fence, and I remember running and leaping over it, but catching my shin on the very top, right, and it bled, and I thought, man, this is fucked up. I, cleaned off the wound and didn't think anything of it. It healed up, all this stuff. Fast forward maybe 9 months later or so, it was later in the school year, I was in weight training class doing leg extensions, and that spot really fucking itched. I don't know what was going on. It was just real itchy. It didn't itch at all during that whole time until this time. So I remember scratching it, and it bled. And as I did a leg extension, this thing shot up and out of my shin. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is that? Like, is this aliens? What? But it turned out that a big chunk of wood had lodged itself when I had leapt over the fence. I had basically caught a piece of wood in there. The wound healed up over it, but it got itchy because it was trying to heal. So when I scratched it, I opened it up enough for that thing to like force itself out. So I had a piece of wood. What's that?
There was no infection in there from the wound?
No. I still have a divot there, which is really weird. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not a maiming, but I had a piece of wood stuck in my shin.
That's
for
pretty
right.
cool.
Oh, dude, that's gross. I was afraid you were saying it was bone.
No, man.
That's what
awesome.
I thought he was going with, like his shin bone went.
No.
Yeah. Then he would have been screaming in pain.
Is it my turn or is it David's?
No, it's yours.
Okay. No, it's yours. Yeah, mine, we wanted stupid. Mine, I had two, and they're really quick, but they're really, really stupid. Okay. So the first one is, used to play in a rock band, hard rock band, right? And so one of the things you do is you accent like with the floor tom and the stand, like boom, 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 like that. And so I was hitting that, and I was probably a little stoned and drunk, and I came down and I hit the side of the drum, the rim. I still have the lump right here, and I snapped this bone right in two, and my hand just caved in on itself, like it's like a rubber band, just like caved in on itself, and it crushed. But I finished the set.
Rock and roll.
Gee, is that your drawing hand too?
Yeah. I had 4 pins put in it.
That's how you get those bouncy lines.
That's right.
I like Art's caveat. I may have been drunk or stoned.
Or both.
Well, in those days,
I may have.
In those days, it was probably
Mayhap. Perhaps.
It was
Probably, maybe.
maybe. But this time I was not drunk or stoned. This was later in life. I should have known better. But it's Christmas. It's our first year in our new house. My wife and I, right? So we're going out. We're gonna get a big ass Christmas tree. Dan's been to the house. We had a vaulted ceiling, and we got like an 8 or 9 foot tree, right? So put it on the car. I'm watching these widgets put this thing on, and I know they're doing it wrong, right? And so I'm trying to help, and I'm like, I put a towel down, so it didn't scratch up the car, and I'm trying to help and just try to like get this thing on, but I know it's not happening. This thing is not tied on good. So anyways, I'm so like out of it, just trying to like manage these guys. So I went and I think the trunk was open. So I went to close the trunk to get in the car to go home, right? So I think it was my left hand. Yeah, it was my left hand. So my hand was overlapping the trunk. Like this part was under the trunk. So I was so like out of my mind, I slammed the thing down. And I literally slammed my hand in the trunk. These 3 fingers, except for this one was hanging out, right? And so I'm like, shit, holy shit. And then so my wife's like, what? And I go, because my wife always, I guess they want answers, right? It doesn't matter, like, we could be under fire, there could be bullets flying. They want to know, like, why are they shooting us, right? They want to know the whys and the hows and all that. So my wife is like, I knew she was going to ask me questions. I said, don't, because this is a new car too. You can't open the trunk. I couldn't open the trunk. It has to be done from the inside of the car. So I'm stuck with the car. I'm one with the vehicle. So my wife comes out. I go, don't look, don't do anything, don't ask me any questions. I go, just hit the trunk release, please. So she's like, she must have saw that I was out of my mind, so she didn't question it. She goes, pops it out. I got my hand back, and so I just kind of hit it. I come back around to the car, right? And I have to get in the car Starsky and Hutch style because they tied me in. I couldn't open the door, right? So it gets better, okay? So my hand busted up, like it's. So I climb in the car. My wife, I'm just like, I don't want to ruin it. I'm like, don't ask me any questions. Everything's fine, you know? And so we start coming home, and we lived in a hilly area. So she's at the intersection. She takes the curve. The tree, I'm not kidding, a 9-foot tree flies off the car in the middle of the intersection, right? Oh. So I have to get out of the car, like climb out Starsky and Hutch style, or what is it, Dukes of Hazzard?
Dukes of Hazzard, yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard. I have to climb out of the car. I have to go to the intersection. I have to drag over this tree with a broken hand, and then I have to hook it back on, tie it, and then get home. And it was freezing cold, and I'm lucky it was freezing cold because I didn't feel a lot of pain. You know, it wasn't until later, but my hand was pretty much frozen. So I didn't feel the pain, and then it just swelled. And I didn't go to the doctor because what I think happened is it probably was fractured. Nothing was snapped, and it was on the small bones. So they were probably slightly crushed, but you know, it's not like they have to set it or anything.
Just slightly crushed. They're just slightly
crushed. Yeah. And so what they call it, just fracture, is like a fracture.
Hairline fracture.
But yeah, those were all really, really stupid and pretty much by my own hand. So literally my own hand.
On your hand.
Yeah. On your hand. Yeah.
All right, D-Wams. Dave?
So many. I'm trying to figure out one that I could tell. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
He said so many. So many.
Well, you want to think about it? Because I got one I can run with.
Yeah, you do one because I want to talk yours again.
So we talk about the stupid things we did as a kid, but this stupid thing I did just 5 years ago. So, and it was my drawing hand. I was mowing the lawn, and I had the mulcher on, so you know there's no bag sitting on it. But the grass must have been high, and it was clogging up where the door is, where the bag would go on. So I went down to lift up the little doors to spit out whatever was clogging up inside there. And I lifted up, but the grass was too thick. It wouldn't blow out, but it's sitting up there. So I just reached over and I grabbed the grass.
Why would you turn the mower off first?
I told you this was a stupid thing to do. and all of a sudden, bam, the blade hits my hand. And the engine shuts off. And I just grabbed my hand. I ran down the hill. I couldn't even look at it. I was afraid to look.
Yeah.
And I ran into the kitchen. Julie comes running over. You know, do you still have a finger? I said, I don't know. I haven't looked. So I turned cold water on, and I ran it under that. And let's see.
Oh, you're going to show us.
Oh, I don't want to see this.
I mean, that's not as bad as it could be. That's for sure.
That's to the bone, though, man.
It just the blade hit here, and you see this bruise on the finger? It hit there too. But this just tore a gash out of this, and that's not even the painful part. The painful part was the striking of it, and it sent a bone pain all the way up my arm from the impact. And so for 2 hours before those nerve endings calmed down, once they did, then it was like just having a bad cut. It was no big deal.
Right.
but for the first 2 hours, I'm at the Mac Center waiting to get treated, and my arm was just freaking killing me. And I'm in the car. Julie's driving me to the Mac Center, and I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm so stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. I couldn't believe I did what I did, and I thought there'd be more room in that housing between the blade and my finger, but obviously not. And just like with the other story, when I went to the movie, the next day I went fishing.
Oh my God. How many stitches did you get? 2?
No,
Nice.
they couldn't stitch it. They had to butterfly it.
Flipping
Ah.
off. Flipping off.
Yeah, they had to
Couldn't
butterfly it.
Oh gosh.
So
See, I'll give you this won't count because this kind of relates. When I was about 16 or 17 again, I cut the tip of my index finger with an X-Acto knife pretty bad. And my dad was a nurse, and my dad's looking at it. And I'm like, well, I guess we got to go get stitches. And he goes, nope, I'm just going to cauterize it right here. And I was like, you're what? And it was on the tip of my finger, tip of my index finger. It was about a 1/4 inch gash on the tip of my finger. And he goes, my brother was there, and he's like, hold your brother's hand. So my brother's holding my hand, and he takes a paper clip, extends it out, heats it up with a lighter, and then he's like, this is going to hurt. And he just, the first hit, I jerked away, and he goes, you can't move your finger. And I'm like, whoa, excuse me. And my brother holds it again, and my dad lights up the paper clip again and just and cauterizes it.
Barbecue.
And then put a Band-Aid on it and called it a day.
That's finger food.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's why I asked, because my finger looked about as bad as yours did. So,
yeah, there's just wasn't enough meat there to stitch, so they had to just take a butterfly bandage and pull it together, and then let it grow back. I still have some scarring there and some deadening on the tip of that finger.
Hey Andy, I put an X-Acto through my hand, my entire hand. It was stuck in my hand. I was cutting like a piece of the moss or whatever, and it slipped and it went right into my hand. And I remember I didn't have the guts to pull it out, so I go into the kitchen where my mom was. I was like, Mom, and I let go. She's like, what the hell? And so I pull it because it wasn't bleeding. And then I pulled it out over the sink, and like corpuscles or whatever, like were cut like white little things, and it was freaking like a gusher.
oh God.
So yeah, I didn't have any stitches. I don't think we believed in the hospital, so I still got a
Back in the day.
Oh, it exists. It exists.
He's fine.
Yeah, they do exist. You're right.
Yeah.
Walk
But
it
not, when
off,
you're-
walk it
not
off.
in our generation. In our generation, it was like, shut up and toughen up.
Yeah.
Rub some
I was
tussin on it. Put
I
some
was throwing the
tussin on it.
back too, where it came out.
Oh man, through and through.
Yeah, it went all the way in. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. So Mr. Williams, he's got to have something for us.
Well-
X-Acto related.
I had an incident with X-Acto, but I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, there's this incident when I was a kid. I was over at my dad's house, and my dad used to love to go bowling. And I had my friend over, and before he left, he says, I don't want you jumping on my bed. So that was an invitation to go jump on the bed.
Right.
Of course.
Right. So, and he had this, like this 8-foot mirror, vanity mirror, near the bed. And so I'm like telling my friend, yo, man, check this out. I could do a double back on here because it was so springy.
Oh.
I did the double back. I made it, but I did a little extra. I went straight into that mirror and broke it to it looked like a Hollywood, mirror that breaks like
The sugar
all
glass.
over the place. So I'm more freaking out that the glass broke and stuff like that. And, I'm like going, oh man, help me pick up all this glass. My dad's going to kill me. And he goes, my friend goes, what's all this blood? And I'm like, blood? What are you talking about? And I would see it. And the more I look, more blood is just like horror movie, just squirting all over the place and stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm looking at myself and I can't see it directly on me. What happened is that shards of glass went into my arm. So I got the scars from it.
Oh, God.
It was just dripping down my arm and I was squirting it like a hose, everywhere, and stuff like that. And so it looked like Pollock was just splattering all over the wall, or Gallagher or whatever.
Gallagher.
And then
Dan
I'm like,
Aykroyd is Julia Childs.
exactly. I'm like, I'm not helping the mess on the floor, so now I got to clean the mess off of the walls.
Oh,
and so I'm like, what the heck? And so my dad's bowling, and I don't want to disturb him while he's bowling, but I'm getting lightheaded, I go downstairs to the neighbor, and she goes, oh my God, she starts freaking out. And I said, can you give me something, because I'm already used most of our towels to put around my arm. She didn't want to put any towels of hers, and so she got tons of cotton balls and started sticking them all over me. And I'm like, this ain't helping. This is ridiculous. So she ends up calling she says, where the heck is your dad? And he's at the bowling alley. So she calls the bowling alley. My dad gets the message. He's bowling a perfect game.
Oh,
Of course.
of course he was.
Interrupted him. He came back. He saw the havoc that was in his apartment. He was like, I told you not to jump on the bed. He knew exactly what it was and stuff like that. And man, it was crazy. And by the time I got to the hospital, I'm knocked out because I'm like depleted of blood and stuff. And they stitched me up and all this kind of stuff. And man, my dad, he held that over my head for years. He was just like,
God, that's
woo.
Hey, Dave, remember that time you bled all over my bed?
Yeah.
Now, I have
all over my walls, look like a
Bro,
crime
Hawk,
scene.
I have a serious question, man.
Yeah.
How was your luck after that?
Yeah, no shit. Breaking that mirror.
Well, it was still bad because remember the car accident happened years later.
You didn't throw salt over your shoulder, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a quick dovetail on that. This is really short, but it's along the same lines. I was slicing a brick of cheese in our house, and I cut my finger pretty good, right? The knife slipped and sliced open my finger. So like an idiot, I sit there and I go, wow, that really hurt. Blood is flying all over the kitchen. Okay? And then I had the David Williams where I'm like, wow, I'm really lightheaded. I had to slide down on the floor. There was blood freaking everywhere. I finally got some pressure on it, but I was like, what idiot slices his hand open and then goes like this? Wow, that hurt.
Well, you heard shake it off, right? Shake it off.
That's right. Shake it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing like a knife cut, though. I mean, when it's a horrible feeling when it cuts straight through. You know it immediately. When your skin is cut and it just goes.
I just lose my finger. That's the first thing you think is how bad is this? But,
yeah, makes your stomach turn.
Hey, but having shards of glass in your body that they have to dig out, is pretty
so
bad.
fun.
So.
God, that's awful.
Yeah.
I closed my hand in a door too. And when as an adult, I pulled an art, and it was the dumbest thing in the world. I was picking up my daughter from a friend's house, right? And I just I got out of the car and I started to close it with my right hand while I still had a hold, the upper bar where the window is, and it just slammed shut. And I looked down, and it's like for a second you're like, this is not happening, and then you realize my hand is closed in the freaking door. So I popped the thing open and totally fine, other than just scared the crap out of me. But I didn't break it.
You're Plastic Man.
Apparently, but I was like, it was the dumbest thing in the world. Who does that, right? I was in such a hurry, I didn't move my hand out of the way while I slammed the door and slammed my door in the hand in the door.
Sometimes we wish we were made out of rubber.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
One time,
Well, here's an instance where it almost looked like I was. You guys know what a belt sander is, right?
I don't like where this is going.
So a belt sander is, probably twice this size. And like it says, you wrap the sandpaper around it, and it's for large areas. I was working at a sign shop where I was in high school, and I had like 32 grit because I really had to sand down this board before they could do sandblasting on it, whatever, for the sign. So, we had to wear jeans, you had to wear pants, couldn't wear shorts, obviously, in the shop. And I was belt sanding, and I got done, and I had it in my one hand, and I just brought it down too close to the front of my jeans, and it grabbed the front of my jeans and took a good chunk of my thigh and wrapped it into the belt.
Oh man!
The front of my
I'm glad
thigh.
you said thigh.
So am I. And it literally did. It wrapped it into the belt. And once again, calm as can be, I was like, hey, Joe, I need you over here. And he's like, why? What happened? And I go, I have a little problem with the belt sander. And he comes over, and he was just like, Jesus Christ. And there's no reverse on this thing. So he's like, I just got to, he unplugged it, of course, right away. He goes, I'm just going to have to pull really hard.
Oh.
So I was like, all right. So he just yanked and took some of the jeans with it. And my leg was just, it was like a 2nd-degree burn. Yeah. And it ended up, bruising up like the whole front of my thigh and stuff. So, yeah, that was pretty bad.
When we were kids, my mom took us to North Carolina, and we were up in the hills there, and we pull over at this overlook, and we're looking down, and there's a car on this ledge down there. So and it was an older car. This is like 1974. So this looked like a car from the 60s. So he had gone over this ridge and landed on like this plateau. And we're looking down there, and I'm like, geez, I wonder what's in that car. I got to find out. So I start to, kind of trot down the hill, and I don't realize how steep it is, because once you start going down a hill, and it's really steep, you can't stop. And I'm running like, holy Christ, I'm doing everything just to keep upright. And I'm heading towards this plateau where the car is. And on the other side of the plateau is nothing. It's a straight ledge. It just goes straight out, in the North Carolina mountains. It's like pure, like a coyote in the Roadrunner, So I'm running down, and there's this rusted up, beaten up car and a giant boulder. And that's it. And then space. And I got to figure out which one I'm going to run into. I got 3 choices. Do I run into this rusty car and get all cut up? Do I go off and launch into space and, see
if you can fly?
See if I can fly? Or do I run into the boulder, which isn't going to move? And so I chose the boulder. And I'm running down there as fast as I can, and bam! I bounced off that boulder. Then my mom realized I was missing and looks down. She goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing?"
Oh my God!
Laying on this thing. Oh God.
Oh geez.
All right, here's a dumb one for you. This is funny though, but the same house where I shook blood all over the kitchen. My son is like 3 or something, or 4, and he's on the kitchen table, looking over the chair at me, talking to me. And I was making his lunch, right? And we had one of those old coil burners on the stove, right? The metal coil burners, right? And so I had something cooking. I can't even remember what it was. And so I turned my back to the cooking because I was talking to him. And I lean up against the stove, right?
Oh,
Oh no.
And we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, God, man, it's
Yo, what's
hot.
cooking?
It was like a cartoon, right? And I look behind me, and my whole shirt has caught on fire. So I drop it on the ground, pounding my back, trying to put the fire out, and my son is on the chair yelling, "Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll!" So of course I got the thing put out, but oh my gosh, I sat there and I thought, how stupid do you have to be to do something like that? Oh, it was classic.
I got a fire story, but go around the horn.
I got nothing.
Hey, we got another member here, Teen Sensation.
Tucci.
Billy O'Tucci.
The Tucci.
He owes us
Gucci
some
is
stories.
home.
He owes us some stories.
Yes, he does.
My brothers, how are you?
How are
Good to
you?
see you.
Buddy.
Glad
We're
to
telling stories of the stupid and nasty.
I heard I came in and I hear Aaron's shirt's on fire. Aaron's on fire. I'm like, man, I don't know if I could even come close to that.
Oh,
We've had a bunch. Hair on fire.
Oh my
D
god.
Wham's getting punted into water. Basically.
getting shot at.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost hit by a train.
Come on. I know you
Oh.
gotta have stories, man.
I got some funny stories. Well, is it my turn though?
Mhm.
Oh
Why
yeah.
not,
Oh
Billy?
jeez. All right, let me think. I saw what it was about Hela. The first one comes to mind. I gotta say it's when I was in the service and I jumped. You know, I was a paratrooper, so I jumped. And we always exit the plane, right? And I was like in the middle of the stick. So I go and you got to stand up, you hook up, you shuffle to the door, and then the red light turns green, and you're over the drop zone, and you just go, right? Go, go, go. And I'm in the middle, right? I'm like in the middle of I don't know how many of us, was it 12 or so? I don't know, 12, 13, 14 of us. And so all of a sudden I get out, and you literally, it was a C-130, so you jump out, right? So I jumped out, and I go, and all of a sudden you hear a shock, and you look up, and you look at your canopy to check your canopy. Well, my canopy, you get twisted up. And my canopy was twisted up. Next thing I know, I fly past one of my buddies, and he jumped out. I know he was way ahead of me. So what you got to now, it wasn't a full stream, thank God, but it was, it was tight. The more tied up you are, your chute's now compressed. Now I'm not going to hit my reserve chute and be a pussy, right? Because that's so.
No
what
way.
they teach you to
No,
do
it's
is
better to die.
you got a bicycle kick. You literally have to bicycle kick out of it. So let me do this thing. And you gotta, when you're on a bicycle and you basically turn yourself around in the fucking air when you got 50, 60 pounds of equipment with you. You got your M4 with you and stuff like that. And I remember I came down and finally I bicycle kicked just out of it. And then I came in and I was able to land, and then I crashed into bleachers. Jumped those bleachers. It was windy and I went right into the bleachers, crash. But I got
How
up.
high up was that jump?
It was like a 1,200-foot jump, so it wasn't a low jump because you train to do combat jumps, which are 500 feet. Because you can't be in the air floating around.
Right.
This was just a regular full combat, low jump, and you're usually the jumps for safety because you have to have your, a lot of times you jump twice, say on a weekend or something. So you'll jump. The first jump is wow, we haven't jumped in a while, so it's a 1,200-foot jump. And then you do a combat jump, which is 500 feet, which is a lot lower. So thank God it was one of the higher ones. But holy shit, I remember flying right by this.
Hey, Billy,
And I'm sitting there in the air, bicycle kicking, and you get out, and I was able to unloosen all my risers and all my line, and I was able to. I'm like, yes!
Hey, Billy.
And I went right into the bleachers, and I crashed into bleachers.
Bill,
There was bleachers off the jump zone,
Billy.
and I crashed into them. So.
Hey, Billy, how fast are you
Billy.
moving when you're
Billy.
coming down? Like,
I don't know, but when you see the movies, or you see people, I don't know if any of you guys ever parachuted down, and you come down and you land on your toggles, and you see guys running. You know what I mean? When you land and you run, and bullshit. That ground comes so fast because you have a pack, and you pull and you drop your pack, which is your Alice pack, which when I was in, they called them Alice packs, which is your big backpack. And that's on a, I don't know, 30 yard, or maybe not 30 yards, maybe 20 yard, paracord. And that hits the ground first. And then you follow that down because you can't really land with 50 more pounds on you. And when that pack hits, you look at the ground and you just, all of a sudden, you just see that ground coming like this, wham. And you're like, oh shit. And you hit the ground and then, you land on your ass, you land on your side, you flip over and stuff like that. And it's not very romantic.
Let's give a welcome to the Frog King who just joined us.
Billy.
Hello.
What's up, David? How you doing, bud?
What's up, Ethan?
How you doing?
Good. I honestly, I just was checking to see if you guys were going because I wanted to join and then I realized I was an hour late today. So,
you missed all the blood and gut stories so far, but maybe
Aaron
you'll
was
have a few
on
to
fire,
share.
Ethan.
Well, we still have the death reveal, right?
What's the death reveal? What's that?
What are you talking about? I already told the one death story I had.
Oh, I have one that'll top David Williams' story.
Well, it's near death.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah,
near
Yeah,
death.
well, near death.
Or your ghost right now.
They brought me back, but yeah.
what is the death story? What is going on?
Well, we're just telling
Before we
stories
go any
about
further,
dumb stuff we did that could have got us killed. And then the second round was things we did that could have maimed us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
but before we go any further, I just wanted to say thanks, Billy Tucci, for making us all look like pussies.
Yeah,
What?
I'm tapping out.
Now, wait, to be
Right,
fair,
right,
David,
crap.
Billy had a parachute when he went flying. You didn't.
Yes, there
Yeah,
you go.
That's true. There you go. All right.
When you were punted
Thank
through
you.
the uprights, David.
Yeah.
So,
there you
so
go.
props to David there.
And I was never on fire like Aaron was.
In my kitchen, I know.
Holy
It's
shit.
exciting.
So, Ethan, do you
He
have
was making a bologna nipple sandwich.
Do you have a near death to share or a stupid like maiming story?
He's popped off.
Uh-oh,
He fell asleep.
He tapped out.
he's calling 911.
You there, Ethan?
I have
Okay.
What you got, Dave?
another crazy story.
All right,
Let's
lay it
do it.
on.
This is starring Adam Hughes and Derek Robertson. I mentioned Derek Robertson before, but Adam Hughes came up to the Bay Area when I was living out there, and he was visiting me. And there was a show, and I was going to show him around. I took him to Pier 39 and was showing him the Bay Area, and I had just had my little baby girl. She was probably like 5 months old or something like that. And we went to go take her over to my mother and father-in-law's house so they could watch her. And so when we do that, we go and check out the sites, go have dinner, all this other kind of stuff. And so we're coming back to pick up my daughter, and Adam, I want to introduce my mother and father-in-law, to Adam and stuff like that. And he comes up, greets them, and he's walking back to the car. But then another car starts driving up the street, like real slow. And as I'm reaching for my daughter, these guys pulled out a gun and shot and said, "Hey, you fucking mayate," and shot, and it went right above my head in the door frame. And Adam Hughes was right there, my wife, me, and I'm just holding my baby. Derek Robertson's in the car and everybody's freaking out. I immediately give the baby to my wife, and I'm running and chasing them on foot. People with guns. I lost my mind right then. I wanted to take them apart. I'm thinking, like, how can I memorize these people's, driver's license and stuff like that? But they were out to, shoot me because I'm married to my wife. It was some kind of
David, I wouldn't blame yourself or your wife. The common denominator in both your stories is Derek Robertson. Sounds like he's bad luck.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
You got to hang out with a different crowd, dude.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh.
I love
Change your
Derek's a
ways.
good guy.
He is a good guy.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But that was a crazy story I wanted to tell. That was another near-death scenario for me. So if that bullet was just less than a foot, lower, I would have been smoked.
Yeah.
And if you were a little bit taller.
Yeah, exactly.
You were as tall as Dan.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like 6'1", like Dan or Ethan. If you're a big guy, or Aaron. Aaron, you'd be dead. You'd be on fire
Yeah.
and you'd be dead.
I'd be burning and smoldering and with a bullet and I hit my head. Wow.
There you
Shaking
go.
off the blood on your hand.
Bleeding from my hand, burning on fire,
So Ethan, do you have any stupidity of your own that you would like to share with us?
No, everything I do is incredibly bright, but I did have a near-death situation when I was driving back and forth from North Carolina to New Jersey to date my now wife, who is Andrea. She lives in Jersey. I lived in North Carolina, and so I had to make these, 500 miles, 9-hour drives to go see her on the weekends until I could figure out how to move back to Jersey. And February, I'm at her house. And I decided I'm going to stay an extra day, which was a big mistake because a snowstorm came, a big snowstorm over the mountains of Virginia. And I decided I'm going to take a shortcut through the Virginia mountains while an enormous snowstorm is happening. And that slowed me down so that I'm driving for the total amount of time ended up being about 14 hours. But I'm exhausted. It's dark out and there are no lights up in the mountains of Virginia. And at one point, the snow was so deep in the mountains. I'm driving my Ford Explorer, and there's nothing but a hill. Okay, like straight, decline going straight down. And below, as my car loses traction with the ground, and I'm sliding down the hill, I see that 4 tractor trailers have piled up. Big, enormous accident at the bottom, and there are people behind me as well. And so I'm doing what I can to sort of slow my car. I don't want to hit the tractor trailers. And as I get closer, I see that 3 cars have flipped off of the embankment on either side, and there are people still inside. I, thank God, am able to bring my car to a halt before I hit that tractor trailer. I get the fuck out of my car because I'm afraid the next 3 people behind me are going to smack my car. Nobody did. And I ended up pulling somebody out of their Ford Fiesta. And was wearing a white shirt. It was covered in blood. And the cops, it took like 2 hours while we were sitting around before they could untangle the tractor trailers and get out. But I almost resorted to cannibalism. I'll be honest with you. The people I pulled out of the car were looking pretty tasty, and I hadn't eaten for a while. So that's the closest I came to cannibalism.
Human Sunbeam / hero.
That's right.
/ cannibal.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call myself a hero because I almost, took.
Well, you wanted to eat them, so you were very selfish. Then you were the selfish hero.
He wanted to eat a hero.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. Starts out as a hero, ends as the villain, right?
But that was the scariest moment of my life. I actually did call Andrea and said, I might die. I don't know. Bye-bye. It was nice seeing you. I don't know how this is going to end here, but this is the whole situation. She was watching it on the news. It was on the news how bad the snowstorm was. That was something else. Other than that, my life has been.
You're freezing your ass off too. As you're standing around waiting.
Were you a lot younger then?
Well, I mean, that was 2014 or 2015.
And you were fine. You were fine.
I was fine. Yeah.
Fine young cannibal.
I knew where it was going.
I have a stupid story, which is probably the scariest, the most frightened I've ever been. If I can
Yeah,
jump in since I'm late.
You got
So,
catching up.
I don't know if you, Ethan, you remember, I'm sure. I would buy these motorcycles and I would have these like super bikes.
Yes,
You
that
know,
was the
like,
best. People don't know that about you.
Yeah,
You were awesome. You made comic conventions so much fun, man. You were like Evil Knievel.
Yeah, I was. So I have I've been riding and racing dirt bikes since I was a little kid. So I think the first mini bike I had, I was 7 years old. My older brothers set it up for me, and they were big motorheads and stuff. So I got pretty good at it. So I would race in the dirt bike circuits and stuff, and then I gravitated towards sport bikes. So I always had sport bikes, and then when she took off, I was able to buy really good sport bikes, really expensive sport bikes. So I bought this. It's called a Bimota. There's only like 50 of them imported into the country, and it was this 180 horsepower or 180 mile per hour super bike. It's an Italian exotic motorcycle. So I remember taking it, and so I'd get up super early on Sunday mornings, and I was living in Queens at the time, and I'd ride all the way out east to Long Island on the expressway. And at one point, I had this bike up to 170 miles an hour. I was lightweight, 390 pounds. And I was riding it, and I was racing, and I had my head down. I remember when I saw this car. I was on the Long Island Expressway, and I was in the HOV lane, and I was racing. And all of a sudden, I see it like a truck, like an SUV or something, and I'm coming up on it, and he's in the left lane. And all I remember seeing was this guy's hand come out like this and just give me the thumbs up. You know what I mean? Like, and he's just like, go, like, go. And I'm like, what? And I remember, so I started, and I just gunned it, right? And the bike is shaking, and it's really like it's a race bike, really, with lights on it. Yeah. And I remember that the freaking, so the I'm hitting the speed so hard, my helmet from the wind is smashing up against my face. I got snot blowing out of my fucking nose, and I'm just like, it's worth it. It's worth it. I feel so loud. You know, I came to dying. I don't know what, but all of a sudden the bike starts skipping though. The wheels
I can picture that.
And that's when I'm like, what am I out of my freaking mind? And I was able to slow it down to probably 140 miles per hour, and that was fine. But that was the most frightened I've ever been in my life. It was so great. Oh my God, I was a god. I was Mercury.
Dude,
I was fucking Mercury, man.
Those things are terrifying, man. I grew up. My first car was a motorcycle, and went at an extreme. You remember, I had a CBR 900 RR.
Nice. Great bike. Yeah.
Is that the one you brought over to the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was based off of the RC 30, I think it was. That was the Repsol Honda super bike. That's a great motorcycle you had.
It was fast as shit. And I remember going to visit Panosian in Laguna. And when you get off of the 405 freeway and you head to Laguna, there's this like almost 2 miles straightaway. And I did the same thing. I wanted to see how fast the thing could go. And I put my head down and I did that. I only got up to about 137, but it got there so fast. I thought I might have been doing 95, 100. It got to that speed so fast that I had a panic attack. I was just like, oh my fucking God, I'm going to die on this thing.
Well, Dan, that's the Laguna Canyon Road, right?
Yeah.
It's one lane. So if you made a mistake,
yeah,
you're dead.
Yeah, sins of youth, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's kind of windy too, so it's not exactly straight. Yeah.
No, that the part from the 405 before it gets windy.
Oh, okay. Before
that
the
long
Laguna
stretch.
Canyon. Okay.
Yeah.
See, after all these stories, we've proved Darwin's theory wrong. You know, it's not the strong that survive; the stupid survive.
Yeah, the stupid totally survive. If I can, I know I have one more story being stupid, and this is probably only like a decade ago.
That's not true, Billy. You have many.
I do have many. If I may, I'm driving, and I'm driving probably 70 miles an hour in the car with the family, and it's hot. And I decide, like an idiot, Debbie's like sleeping, I think. The kids are sleeping in the back. I decide that I'm hot, that I'm going to take my sweatshirt off while I'm driving the fucking car. Oh, no. And all of a sudden I know I get stuck on the fucking thing like this. And I'm like, oh my God. And the car swerves. And it was like, Debbie, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I was hot. I was hot. Like on race, driving on, I don't know, Grand Central Parkway or the Jersey Turnpike or something. We were coming back from somewhere, and I decided to take my sweatshirt off or my sweater off when I'm driving in the middle lane doing 70 miles an hour. Don't ever do that, people.
Shit, I can beat that. I was 17 or 18, and I was a driver for this company I was working for before I went to the Hubert School, and it's late 80s, so the car I was driving was it was a company car, some 4-door, 1985, whatever. I just remember it had the controls. It was an automatic, but it was on the column. So you remember back when they used to have the shifting on the column for, reverse drive, all that shit. So I'm driving like 85 in the fast lane on 95 going up to Baltimore to make a delivery. I was so freaking tired, and I wanted to change lanes. And instead of hitting the turn signal up, I hit the fucking shifter into reverse at 85. Oh, dude. It was just this huge thunk. The car turned off. The brakes locked up. Luckily, nobody was behind me, and I just went skidding. And I was like, holy shit. Talk about waking you up. I popped it into neutral, started it back up, kicked it into drive, and just kept going.
It didn't destroy
you. didn't throw the transmission? Like the transmission?
No. I couldn't believe the transmission was still alive in that thing.
Might have been a safety thing where it deactivates if it's...
It might have been it could have been a safety. I have no idea. But that woke me up. So I was wide awake for the rest of that drive to Baltimore.
What about that'll do it? We are holy shit.
Didn't Art say he had like a topper for David's near-death experience?
Oh yeah, what is it? Let's hear it.
Come on, man.
So this is 79. This is my right after graduation. Take my girlfriend of the time up to the Angeles Crest Forest. So
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, there's hiking and we brought some, food so we could barbecue a little bit, stuff like that. So we spent the whole day there. And so we're in the creek and I guess it was like we got this fish. Somehow we caught a fish that was in the creek. And so we had it in a little plastic container. And so then it comes the end of our beautiful day. We're getting ready to go home. And then, we're getting back in the car and we're like, what are we going to do with this fish? And so then she's like, well, it'll just die. So you should go throw it back. So then I'm walking across the highway, the mountain highway to get to this creek. And out of nowhere, this motorcycle just hits me. It just.
Was it Dan?
It was Dan.
We thought it might have been you.
Yeah, no, it was the teen sensation, Billy Casey.
170.
Yeah, so this thing hits me, and I do remember there is something about like time slowing down, and I remember the bike coming in. It must have just been a split second. And I remember, and it was one of those things like, have you ever been like in a hallway and there's like somebody coming at you and you don't know whether to go left or right and they're doing the same thing. So you're kind of doing this thing like, should I go left? Should I go right? So I'm doing that as the bike's coming at me. And then I remember I moved out of the way and my leg caught the peg of the bike. Oh, boom, just snapped my leg in two, bam. And then I came around and I hit the handlebars, bam, with my mouth. I just broke my jaw, all my teeth out. Yeah. And then it sent me flying. And then I remember it was kind of like, who was it that was saying they felt cold? Was that you, David? Where you just kind of, you don't know what happened to you? Yeah, it was David. And so I'm laying on the hot asphalt and I just remember it's like, this asphalt's really hot. Like I want to get up. Like it didn't knock me out at first. And so I go, I just want to get up. And so just then, I guess there were some fires up on the hill. So the paramedics and the fire department were coming down. It was perfect timing. And so then the paramedic came down and it's like pushed me back down on the asphalt and said, you can't get up. And I go, but the asphalt's hot. That's all I remember is the asphalt was hot. Sure. So he goes, well, I'll get a blanket. I'll put it under you and stuff. And so I just remember looking at my girlfriend. She's like horrified. She's like, ah.
Oh my God.
And so anyway, they put me in the ambulance or whatever, the paramedics thing. And then I do remember my girlfriend at the time, who was younger, we were just kids, and she's like, she wanted to get in and go to the hospital with me, and they were like, you can't come in here. And then I do remember just having frame of mind, just saying, you got to let her in. She can't drive. Like, she can't drive my car. You know, she'll just be stuck here all night. So she got in the car, and long story short, cracked jaw. My eye was just scraped. My teeth were bashed out. I had a collapsed lung from broken ribs. My leg was shattered. It wasn't just broken, it was shattered. And just major lacerations and road rash and stuff. And I stayed in the hospital for about a month.
Wow.
Art wins.
I had
How old were you, Art?
What's that?
How old were you when that happened?
It's probably about 17, 18. Yeah, it was graduation. It was 79.
Oh, nice.
How old I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So whatever happened to the fish?
The fish didn't make it because I still.
Don't tell Graham that.
River.
Cooked
Did
on
the
the
All right,
bike
guys,
asphalt.
crash too?
I gotta bounce.
Did the
I got a
bike crash?
9:30.
Okay, Andy.
Yep,
Hey, have
I'll
a
see
good
you
one,
guys
bro.
later.
Take it
See you
easy.
later.
Bye, everyone.
See you, Andy. Yeah, I still feel bad about the fish, Billy, but I have a strong feeling it didn't make it either.
Now, did the motorcycle crash too? Or did he?
You know what was weird is he got the speed wobbles after he hit me, because it wasn't like a head on. So he got the wobbles, and I do remember when I was falling down, I remember seeing the bike, and I'm glad it did, because I think it would have been a hit and run, because I do think that guy.
He would have kept
I
going.
remember when they got me out of there, that guy was like, wasn't this awesome? He was like, this was kick ass. Like he was high, or he was like stoned out of his mind.
Wasn't this great?
Yeah, he was like, isn't this cool? And I'm sitting right next to him. He's got like a sprained wrist. You know what I mean? And I remember I took him. I never sued anybody before, but I did it for my parents, because my parents, after that, because the hospital bills, the insurance wasn't paying for it. I remember them arguing late at night. I was just feeling so bad. So we weren't the type, the T-Bears weren't types that sued or did anything like that. So I did look into an attorney, and we did sue him. And I remember that, they kind of figure out, they assess damage, who did what, whatever. And he got a claim settlement as well. And his claim settlement was because I didn't use the crosswalk. There was a crosswalk up the road a little bit, and because I wasn't in the crosswalk, somehow it was assessed as it was partially my fault.
Well, you kind of did run out in the middle of the street.
I was on the shoulder of the road, actually. I got a fish. It's like that scene in Ace Ventura when he's got the bat. He's like, out of my way, people.
You didn't even ate that fish when he was, almost going to die in a snowstorm in a whiteout in West Virginia, in the mountains of Virginia.
Yeah. Well, I also got attacked by a bear, Billy. I told
what?
Wow. I was mauled by a bear in 2001.
That's pretty
Francisco?
In New York.
Are you serious?
In Woodstock, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I've never met anybody been attacked by a bear.
It's
the manly story of the night.
It's not. It wasn't a grizzly. It was
you mean the animal, like the animal, a bear, or do you mean?
I don't mean a large homosexual male. No, I mean
okay.
It was a koala bear, and it was
bear with a beard.
Right.
It was a T-Bear.
It was our T-Bear.
T-Bear.
The death bear.
All right, Ethan, I have to hear how did you survive the black bear attack by the great black boar?
Well, I lived in Big Indian, New York, which is up near Woodstock. It's in the mountains. It's extremely rural, and there are no street lights. Again, everything happens to me in the dark, in the mountains, in the snow. That's it. That's my nightmare. And in order to take your garbage out, the garbage man would come once a week, and it would be like a Tuesday morning at like 4 a.m. or something like that, an ungodly hour. You couldn't just take your garbage out at 8 p.m. because the bears and the raccoons would get into it. So, and then scatter it everywhere. So you really had to set your alarm and go out maybe 20 minutes before So you have to feel your way around, okay, in the dark. So I'm pulling the garbage can out to the curb. It's pitch black. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. And I hear in my neighbor's yard, my neighbor was a wall-eyed lunatic who set the mountain on fire one time behind us. Smoking cigarettes, he throws it into dry leaves, literally sets the entire mountain on fire. And said, and when it was done, I said, "You okay?" He said, "I could use a cigarette." I was like, "Yeah." So anyway, this guy put his garbage out, and I hear rustling in his garbage. Rustling noise, and I'm like, what the hell is that? It should be quiet. It should be quiet out here, but I hear rustling. I park my garbage can where I think it should be, and then all of a sudden I just hear, and boom, like something hit me, and it felt like a Volkswagen Bug, and I just fell over on my back into 2 feet of snow and just lay there, and I felt compression on my chest. And then I heard it run up the mountain behind me. I didn't know what it was for a long time. I just sat there like, like what hit me in the snow. It felt like I was in the snow for 10 minutes. It was probably more like 60 seconds. But I realized that was a bear. And I'd startled the bear, and it decided to charge me, run over me in order to get back up the mountain again. And that article,
linebacker that lives in your neighborhood.
It could have been that, but why was he in my neighbor's garbage? Like
that? They do. They eat the garbage. The bears. Oh, the linebacker.
He said a linebacker though.
Oh.
I didn't think it was a. But there was an article about it in Wizard Magazine, which was, there wasn't. They actually did run an article about me being attacked by a bear.
Now, is it possible, could this have been Bigfoot by any chance? Is there any chance that could have been it?
I don't know. I mean, it could have been. I couldn't see it.
That's all I need to hear. If it possible, it could have been.
The chat's going nuts. They're saying it's Chanu, it's Kelsey, it's Gail Simone.
Sure.
I think it was a bear. I'm pretty sure it was a bear.
Could you imagine if the bears, like one of his claws, just got like stuck on the garbage can? I was just trying to run away, and then you would have had a bear claw. You fought off and you would be wearing it.
He'd be happy to have a bear claw.
Hell yeah!
What if I had a bear footprint in my chest? Like I would like that. I would look. There's a permanent bruise on my chest from a bear.
You should see how the bear looks.
Yeah.
Bears scare the shit out of me, man. They're psychotic. One whack with that paw, they can take your entire head off.
They're really. You're thinking of grizzlies. Like these are the black bears in the mountains around where upstate New York. They're raccoons. They just want to eat your garbage. They don't want to trouble you. But evidently, this one was like, "Don't F with me." And decided to knock me down. And I count myself lucky, but man, that was weird. I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. I'm so glad I live in a sensible place like New Jersey.
Yeah. Ethan's living among the swells now.
In New Jersey.
Rightfully so.
I'm more likely to be attacked by a bear where I live now, I think. Oh, yeah. In the Pine Barrens.
Well, if you want anybody to do any bear hunting out there, I'm not going to hunt the bear.
The Jersey
just don't
Devil.
take your trash out, at midnight anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Hunter do it.
Well,
that's a good. I would have had Hunter do it then, but he was 2 years old. Hunter was like 3. I would have made Hunter take the garbage out. That's what he does now.
And then he would have drug Hunter off, and then Hunter would have been raised by the bears.
Like a Tarzan story.
Yeah, he would have been like Bear Boy.
Yeah,
Clan of the Cave Bear.
Well, most of Ethan's near-death experiences come at the hands of the internet these days, don't they? I mean, it's more of a.
I was there for one of them. I was there probably for the first one, for the attack, if you remember that. So Ethan and I were at a store. So we did a great small show in, I think it's 2017, right, Ethan? Probably 2017. We did a great small show in Daytona Beach, I believe it was. And then we were up and we went to a pizza parlor. And there was Ethan. I was signing autographs, stuff like that. We had a pizza party. Ethan told everyone where he was going to be. There were threats earlier in the day, if you recall, EVS. Ethan drew a beautiful Batman on the wall for the fans. It was a great party. And then that evening, they shattered the pizza parlor. They attacked the pizza parlor. Someone attacked the door. Remember that they I guess this was,
they threw a cinder
this was
block
like a
through the front
message.
door.
About that.
Oh yeah, they broke and they weren't trying to break through because they could have broke in. You know, it wasn't like safety glass, so they literally wanted to send a message, and they just assaulted the pizza parlor. And like you have someone like Ethan Van Sciver is gonna sign at your store. It was a store / pizza parlor. That's what it was. And then we'll send a message, and they sent that message. Remember that the next day? That was crazy.
Yeah, the guy called me, the owner of the pizza store. He was distraught. You know, they're a small business, he and his wife, and he'd saved enough money to go on vacation, and he was going to have to use that money to replace the door. So everybody got together.
Him, right? You raised a bunch of money for him.
We did. Yeah, we raised enough money to fix his door, but that was just that was insane. I can't believe 2017 was real. It was an insane year.
Yeah.
And where was that? Daytona Beach?
Yeah, it was near Daytona Beach. It's a place called Gotham City Pizza.
Yes.
They're like a comic book themed pizzeria, and their pizza is great. Pizza and beer and comics. You can't beat it, you know.
We had a great time. Great time. And then the assault came. It was nuts. Cops.
I always wonder where these guys get these cinder blocks. You hear about these acts of violence, you know, with cinder blocks. Like, do they just have them chambered? Do they have them in their trunks? Like, you know, just in case I need to throw this, you know, at a cop or through a window or something. Like, what the hell is
You
that?
can get them from Acme Cinder Blocks. You know, you just order it online, just like the Coyote. You know,
They're heavy, man. You know, it's a cinder block. It's cumbersome.
Yeah.
Who even
Poor
knows?
guy had no clue of how crazy people are, comic fans.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, this is over comics? You know what? And we're like, apparently so. A lot of weirdos out there. So,
It's true.
My life's too boring.
Comics.
My life's too boring, man. I avoid trouble like crazy. So
I
still fine.
like to think that I do too. I think most of us probably try to, except for Billy. You know, Billy
yeah, he goes
seeks trouble.
not anymore.
Well, Billy, your entire wish in your life was to be jumping out of the airplane on D-Day.
Yes,
you
that
know?
is like, yes, if
That's
I
not a
go-
guy who avoids trouble.
Yeah, we had that conversation, right? And we were hanging out. And if you can go back in any time, you know, like guys, if you can go back to any time and place in history, where would you go? And this conversation struck up with Ethan and I don't know, maybe a decade ago. And I said, I would take my chance. I would just love to have parachuted out on Normandy with the 101st and 82nd Airborne. That's my, you know what I mean? Dream to have done that. It's you know, I'd love to meet Theodore Roosevelt, but that's after that, you know?
Yeah, most people are like, I'd like to go back to high school with what I know now and just score with all the hot chicks.
not Billy, man. He wants to parachute into Normandy.
Yeah, take my chance. Imagine that, you know? I don't know. But, you know, those were the days. How about you, Graham? What would, if you could go back in time and do anything, what would you do? Where would it be? What point in history and time or whatever?
oh, I'm a man of the future, Billy. I don't look in the past.
There you go.
Can you
I
speak?
always look forward.
Can you speak the language?
Well,
Like, can you? No, I'm saying, if you went back, could you automatically speak the language?
Yeah,
that's
that's important. Billy,
that's
you're
for you, Billy.
Oh, yeah,
There's
like
certain
you-
parameters here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, maybe not. Maybe it's like I don't know, Outlander.
Oh, well, that would be a bummer.
You just end up saying a lot of like anachronisms. and
No, because I think whether anybody believes or not, I think kicking it with Jesus for a week would be badass.
That's what I was going to say. But if I couldn't understand,
That's
a good week,
exactly
though.
yeah.
Yeah, but if in your heart, though, you should know, you should talk to Jesus every day already.
I'd want to.
You don't have to go back in time.
break bread and have some wine with the
That's a
man.
good point. That's a good point.
Right? You know, you don't have to go back in time to see Jesus. Now, Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay, you know what? I got something for you. You know what I'd like to do, and this comes on the death of Michael Collins. I would have liked to have been in the command module with him.
Oh.
While Buzz and Neil were down on the moon, keep him company and hear what he had to say.
So you wouldn't want to be with Buzz and Neil
you don't want to be on the moon. That's
on the
interesting.
moon?
Well, there's no room for a third guy there.
Well, there's no room for a third guy in the capsule.
Well, there is if
the
Buzz and
module,
Neil are down there. Nobody says they're coming back up.
That's a good one. I would like to walk on the moon. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Shelley has a near-death experience she needs to share.
No, who has the best story? That's
Your
what
husband catching fire.
Well, yeah.
No, that was Dave. It's either
No,
David
David
knocked off
got
the
shot.
bridge or Art
David
getting
got
hit by
shot
the
at.
motorcycle. Although getting run over by a bear is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Why did he shoot
I
at
was
you?
hit
Well, he
What
got
was
shot at too.
because I was black.
that? Was
Wait,
it?
what?
Yeah, because
Did
my
you
wife
know
is
them?
Mexican.
Oh.
My wife is Mexican, and I'm black. And this gang who's Mexican didn't like the fact that I was with this Mexican woman.
Yikes.
And what did they say to you? They
Yeah,
said,
what was the word they used?
They said, "Die, you fucking mayate."
Mayate.
What's a mayate?
That's bad.
Like a
You probably shouldn't be saying it.
I thought that was a drink you have in Hawaii.
yeah, exactly.
Those are delicious.
You guys have some adventures. Mine wasn't that good.
It's like an eggplant.
Mayate.
Oh,
But
gosh.
going back to who would you go back to see in the past? I'd go back to be with Adam and Eve, and I'd bitch slap both of them for getting us into this mess.
And then at the end, he goes, "Put some clothes on, for goodness sake."
Oh, man.
Say, don't eat that apple. What are you doing?
No,
I'd go
I
back.
tell Adam to put his clothes on because I ain't interested.
I'm reading all these.
I used to think I wanted to drop acid with the Beatles, but I don't think that anymore.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
How cool would it be?
I'd freak out.
I would like to go back in time and join the Beatles or manage the Beatles before they became the Beatles, knowing what I know now, and I would give them 90s pop songs that I would pretend that I wrote, and I would like to hear the Beatles sing "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." I'd be like, "Look at this!
Okay.
These are the chords. Here's Ice Ice Baby. Maybe I'd like to hear John Lennon sing Ice Ice Baby."
Yeah, the Beatles could have invented rap.
Yeah, I would give them all of the worst songs from like the 90s, the 80s and 90s that were number 1 hits. I would have them write Salt and Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. They'd push it real good. It would be the shit. Like, that's one of my main fantasies. I think about that all the time.
Just to pretty much derail the Beatles' career trajectory.
Not necessarily a hit is a hit. If it was a hit in the 80s, it's going to be a hit in the 60s, theoretically.
Did you guys watch the Bee Gees documentary at all?
Yes.
It was kind of incredible that the engineers working on Bee Gees, the Stayin' Alive, that was one of the very first times they ever did sampling because they couldn't get the drummer. The drummer was unavailable, so they took Jive Talking and they took some of the bars and they looped them and looped them and looped them, and that's how they had the drums for Stayin' Alive, which was really interesting because sampling is has a history.
Where's that documentary, Dan?
When they were doing, they were talking about the drummer. This was
No. Where can you watch it?
HBO
Max.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's we're almost extinct. We only have it's now one BG. It's the BG now.
Yeah.
And it's the one who looks like God the Father.
Gone.
Yes, it's Moses BG.
Barry Gibb. I always thought Barry Gibb would be God the Father, and then Maurice would be Jesus Christ, and Robin Gibb would be the Holy Ghost because he's so skinny. The Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
The Holy Ghost is my favorite of the Trinity, David.
So wait.
Where's Andy? Where's Andy in the mix?
Andy is
the fallen angel.
The cherub.
Because he hung himself, I guess.
The cherub flying around.
Yeah.
The fallen angel. Hey Dan, I have to ask you, so the Bee Gees couldn't afford a drummer?
No, they had their drummer, right? They had their session drummer, and he wasn't available Like if you watch the documentary, they explain it much better than I am, but they wanted that sound, but he wasn't available, so they used his drums by looping them.
Okay, I wonder how he felt about that.
Oh, he seemed pretty stoked about it in the documentary. I'm sure he got paid.
Yeah.
You know? But I had no idea they had such a rich history, man. I knew their stuff from like Jive Talking On, you know, and Nights on Broadway and Barry Gibb Talk Show, you know.
Well, they date back to the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They sounded like a really crisp, better harmonized Beatles.
Yeah.
They were like Hanson. They were a little boy band.
Like
there were
Hanson.
3 of them like Hanson. And Hanson probably would have been the Bee Gees eventually.
And Maurice still had that comb over. He was rocking the Ben Franklin, remember?
Enormous teeth in his mouth. All of them had huge teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from. Guys just have
They
big
were
teeth
so
in
good,
their
though.
mouth.
So underrated.
100%. But Barry Gibb, I mean, you look at, if you go on iTunes, you can look up the Barry Gibb songbook, and you could see all the different hits that he wrote. A lot of them I knew, you know, the Streisand stuff and, you know, Kenny Rogers stuff, but there's some others. Like that Dionne Warwick song, like he did some Dionne
Why
Warwick.
do you have to be a heartbreaker? That song came out, you know, I associate that with comics.
I never knew.
That would be on the intercom when I'd go into Blankenbush Drugs and shoplift comics in Merchantville in 1982. Like that was, so that's like Ghost Rider.
The sound of theft.
Yeah, I hear that and I'm just like, oh, cool. And they had a Playboy magazine that would be laying out, and I'm 8 years old. I'm peeking through that. Some dude's coming out from behind, you know, saying, "Hey, that's not for you," and chasing me out in the street. But
And then you're like,
Dionne
wait, I'm
Warwick's
looking at the
Heartbreaker.
famous monster books. I'm not looking at the Playboys.
I was definitely looking.
Dude,
at
I was
that
like
Playboy.
you. I was like you, Art. But we did sell. I got a funny story about Playboy. Can I tell the story? Or no? I'm getting off subject. No one died here.
Yeah.
Well, you
But,
guys
I
know my near-death story, so
Yeah, I think we run the gambit on those stories.
Yeah.
So, we can
Although
move
mine
on
was
to
legit,
a Playboy story.
should have been dead.
Yeah, she had a embolism.
Pulmonary embolism.
What is that?
Had a blood clot go through my heart into my lung.
Oh,
She
Oh
walked
my
in-
God.
Yeah.
More people die of that every year than breast cancer and something else combined. They told me I wasn't taking it serious enough, so the nurse yelled at me. I'm like,
Are you okay?
yeah, I'm alive. Yeah, I had to do like 7 months of blood thinners, and yeah, that was back in 2009,
Yeah.
I think.
Exciting times around here.
I
So
just
did
thought,
they remove the clot?
he's like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, I don't want to go.
I had to drag her to the hospital
Yeah,
practically.
I didn't want to go. So,
Do they remove the clot surgically, or is it just the blood thinners and then it just kind of
So
gets
the blood
smaller?
clot stays in my lung forever. It just kind of like assimilates in there, and then it came from a blood clot in my leg.
The funny thing is, though, when I left the hospital, we got run over by a bear driving a motorcycle.
It was crazy.
It was unbelievable. And that was
But no, so I just did 7 months of blood thinners to supposedly get rid of the blood clot in my leg, and
I'm glad you're okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
yeah. Do what?
We thank God.
Yes, every day.
Well, yeah. Lucky for him, although he could have made a lot of money if I had perished. So either way, he would have been just fine.
Oh my God! Cash in the life insurance.
It was a win-win for Aaron.
Yep. Windfall.
Oh,
That's horrible.
she almost
Almost
crashed and
died
burned right there. Yeah. She had a Edith Keeler moment right there. Just almost tripped and fell, but got herself. Yeah, that was pretty exciting. You know, I don't know if you guys ever had like with your spouse or you're in the house with somebody and something really, you know that something serious is going on, you know, and there's kind of that panic, that surreal panic where you're like, you know what, I need to get you to the hospital like right now. So it was one of those things, but yeah, it was amazing that it got through her heart, you know, because that's usually where it gets stuck and people just drop dead. So,
Yeah, God bless you both.
Jeez.
That's terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out why he saved me, and I have to do something profound. But
Well, I have a question for you. If you could go back in time Would you rather go hang out and spend a week with Jesus, with Adam and Eve, or with the Bee Gees in the 60s?
Wow.
My daughter's telling me Bee Gees. But see, she's a Beatles fanatic, so
Would you like to go back in time with me to the Beatles era before they become the Beatles and ruin their careers by giving them horrible pop music? Because that's what I'm going to do. You can come.
She would. If the Beatles were ruined, my daughter would be ruined. She couldn't participate in such a thing.
She is such an 80s child. 70s and 80s child.
Hey, I raised her on 70s rock, man. I know what I'm doing. And a little bit of Beatles too got in there.
Yeah, I think going back in time, my first choice would be go back and slap my mom, marry my dad. Other than that, yeah.
Sis, make sure he's on a leash when you take him out.
That's so profound. I got to think on that one.
We still have to get back to you.
Adam and Eve, I don't know.
Stop him from eating the fruit.
Snakes scare me.
Especially talking ones, trying to talk you into. Here, eat this. It'll be fine.
Have an apple.
Oh.
I would go back in time to Adam and Eve's timeline and just take a bite out of the snake instead, which is what we should all be doing.
Go back to
That's good snake. Yeah.
There you go.
Billy, I want to go to the 50s and join Senator McCarthy's committee and persecute communists more effectively. I really think that their mistakes were made.
And stand side by side with Robert Kennedy.
I would, and John F. Kennedy. Roy Cohn was the problem. He was just a problem, and if we could have just kicked him out of there, we wouldn't have had the Army McCarthy hearings, and we could have been persecuting commies into the late 60s together.
It's not too late, my friend.
That's right. They're resurging. They're giving us plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see President Foster Brooks last night?
Oh my God! What?
That's a dated reference, but that was good.
That was great. Did you see what was it? Donald Trump Jr. tweeted out, "Let's get ready to mumble."
Oh shit! Shit!
Holy crap!
That's funny.
I think Biden's just trying to get as much in as he can before he perishes.
I'm not paying any attention. I'm tuned out for the next 4 years.
I didn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. I just get aggravated. But I watch the clips like on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy has absolutely no energy. It's like he's like climbing a hill every time he tries to talk, and he loses all his energy.
He's like low energy Jeb. Remember low energy Jeb?
Jeb Bush?
Yeah, remember Trump was like low energy Jeb.
Yeah, remember Jeb Bush? Man, Jeb Bush was speaking in front of his little crowd, and he turns, he goes, "Now's the time to applaud." Remember, like he hit a point, and he's like, "Now's the time to be applauding," and they're like, "What?"
Yeah,
he's probably drunk.
Oh, I lost my most Twitter followers when somebody posted something about Kamala Harris standing behind Joe. Isn't it eerie that she's standing behind him all the time? And I said, well, she's just waiting to catch him when he falls.
Oh no!
Oh,
I can't say that, Aaron, on Twitter.
Huh?
You can't say that, buddy, on Twitter.
I know, but I couldn't resist. I had to get a little shot in there.
She wants to push him, but she has to make it look like an accident.
Oh my gosh!
You know that Batman villain, the ventriloquist?
Yeah,
Alan Grant created.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Enough said.
Oh man,
that's what it's like.
I can't even believe it. I can't watch any of that. I can't believe he's our president. I can't. I forget it. Next 4 years are just I'm thinking about frogs. You know, that's it. And rainbow fairy barbarians. And I'm just tuning out of all of this.
Yeah, just the thing he said. I can't stand it. I'm with you, Ethan, man. I just tuned out.
I'll tune back in again in November of 2022, and then I'll tune out.
The midterms,
yeah. I'll pay. Don't worry, I'll be there. Well, I'm not going to let you guys down.
He's got such charisma. I think it was by far the least watched State of the Union type of a speech ever. I mean, the ratings were like Oscar level.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, Tim Scott's rebuttal was way better than Biden's speech.
Yeah.
Tim Scott's great. He's an up.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's one of those guys to keep an eye on because he's going to rise up in that party.
He's also like no F's are given the way he talk. You know, he's like he doesn't give a shit. He's just laying it out there, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I need passion. I need.
Yes.
I need sanity. I need sanity with politics. Yeah.
Well, that's why we love comics, right? That's where our passion is.
It's a good place to hide. It's a great place to hide
It's a
from
great
the rest of
place
the
to
world.
hide.
Ideally, ideally, and that's what I believe in. That's everything that I want people to understand.
Mhm.
That comics should be a
right
place
in
to
the
hide.
open. Yeah, we're hiding right in the open.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a place where you're assaulted by how awful the world is. It really should be
Right.
a good escape, and that's
Exactly.
why I'm proud of you guys and what you guys do. It's important. It's a service. It really is a service. A good distraction for people who and the world is rough. The world's rough right now. It's awful. People have a lot of worries and concerns. Imagine if you can take their mind off of it for 20 minutes.
Well, that's what entertainment used to be. It's escapism, and usually the worse things got, the better entertainment did financially, and more people went to it. And now it's like they're just fighting even in the entertainment industries. And it's
I think people are just sick of their shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're preaching and they're holier than thou attitudes and all, and it's just good for them. Hey,
I'm back.
Well, that was quick.
Andy fell and he hurt himself. He's going to share the story with us.
Andy just had a near-death experience.
Yeah, another Belt Panther story coming up.
Andy rocking the Formula One seat. Look at that. That's badass, bro. Look at that chair.
No, it's not. It's a gaming chair. It means he's in his 40s and he plays video games all day. That's what it means.
No,
Yes.
it's not a gaming chair.
That's not a gaming chair,
man.
All right.
It's Captain America.
It's just it is a Captain America chair, but it's just a comfortable. I had to buy a new office chair, and I was like looking through them on Amazon, and I'm like,
does it have
No
little
way.
speakers so that you can hear the Super Mario Brothers theme without lifting your
Nope.
head? No? All right.
the only thing it does, another reason I got it, it literally reclines flat. So I can
It's a
lay this-
gaming chair. That's a gaming chair, Andy. That's what
There's
gamers
no-
use.
There's no speakers.
That's a gaming chair. You're sitting there playing Call of Duty, and when people want to know where First Man number 2 is, it's not coming.
I just
It's
showed
not
off.
coming.
Hey, I just
Andy's
showed off
involved in video gaming.
I just showed off 5 pages of it and the cover that's almost done. So
I can't wait.
I'll
It
have
was a
you
good
know.
book. I can't wait to see the next one.
I
Hey,
appreciate
thanks, Eric McIntyre, for a $5
Yeah, good question.
super chat. Politics are boring. David, are you planning on a crowdfunded book? So we got a question for you, Dave.
Yes, several. I got to get past working on Bass Reeves first. So stay tuned.
Okay, there you go, Eric. And check out Bass Reeves, too, because that's an awesome book.
How many more issues do you have of Bass Reeves?
2.
Nice.
Any hints? Any hints of what you're leaning towards for your Indiegogo book?
Is it amphibian related?
If not, it should be.
No. It will. I love superheroes. My whole career was about wanting to do superheroes, and my project is just an amalgam of all the rejected Marvel and DC pitches that I've, given to them. And I said, well, since you don't like them, I'm going to use them myself, and
That's perfect.
do what I want with them.
Yeah.
And I also have a vampire story that I'm working on too. So it'll all fit all in the same world. It'll all work to one thing. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's
Well, you haven't given
stuff I've
anything.
always wanted to do. Yeah, exactly.
Just tease it, babe.
Yeah, I mean it's stuff I've always wanted to do for either Marvel or DC, where they told me no for no good reason, And so I just said, all right, I'll do it myself.
That's
And,
rejection is the perfect opportunity to do great things, because
Yeah.
you see the greatness in your ideas. Sometimes other people don't see it, and then they kick themselves in the ass later on for not realizing it. But you have to believe in it.
Well,
Also,
all of you
some these
guys,
ideas just have to happen. You know what I mean? You have to get it out of your system. Like, it's never going to go away. So if you've had these stories all this time, David, you have to tell them.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, and all you guys to lesser to greater extents have inspired me to say, hey, look, we're doing it, and if you build it, they will come. And that's very inspiring. And I was just like, all right, these guys are doing it, and these guys are great. I want to strive for greatness too. Every one of you guys are some sort of, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee in your own right, to where you got these ideas and you want to project them out there and, do it on your own steam. And that's awesome. And that's what it should be. I used to tell some of the, young people that I would teach art to that, I wish I wouldn't have got into the industry the way I did. I wish I would have did it like how, Mike Allred, did it, where he had his creator own thing, and then DC and Marvel came to him, instead of the other way around, me begging for, hey, can I please get on your books? And I'm like, I think I wasted, a lot of good years, trying to get in, so to speak, even though I was in for a long time. So you guys are very inspirational for a lot of people moving forward, trying to do this comic book thing.
That's awesome.
We're also very fortunate, though, because of the fans. If we go directly to the fans, and they hold you accountable, which is awesome. And they tell you whether if they like it or not, and there's no middleman, there's no editors interference, there's no distributors. It's just you and the fans, and you can't ask for anything better. I mean, and you give the customers what they want. You give them what they want.
My favorite. Well, yeah, that's my favorite part of this.
That's what I want in the first place.
Share your art with the masses, share your creativity.
If you're putting your stuff out, through DC or Marvel, you're not getting any feedback from your editors. Your editors are cold and heartless. They're not saying, hey, this page you turned in is great. You're not getting that from any of them anymore. I used to get that from Archie Goodwin.
I was going to say they used to do that.
Yeah, Archie to me was the last great editor and stuff. He saw my finished Legends of the Dark Knight that never came out while he was in the hospital dying from cancer, and he called me from the hospital telling me how great it was. Would an editor do that now? Hell no. So I'd rather hear it directly from the fans, because that's the direct person I'm trying to appease.
Do you guys feel like Marvel and DC, how they would get letters, and sometimes they would publish letters in the letters column, and every once in a while, there'd be something addressing you, and you go, oh, wait a minute. People are actually giving feedback on this stuff. Like, it's just a reminder. But do you think like Marvel and DC have an obligation to forward that mail to you, so you could see it? Because there's a lot of mail that just
they don't want to take the time.
Yeah, there's no obligation. There's no obligation, and for the most part, that's extra work.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. That's just it.
They don't have no money to do that.
Heaven forbid they do some work.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even with emails, I was never forwarded. And it maybe never happened. Maybe no one ever wrote a letter to the editor about, say, a book that you worked on that they liked. I was never forwarded anything from an editor, from a fan, say, or anyone at DC if anyone liked it. But then again, maybe no one liked my stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Ethan, you were real. I mean, Ethan, you were like, one of the top guys. Did you get that? Because I'm sure you and Jeff and all the work you guys did, all the big books you worked on, did you get correspondence passed on to you by the editors or marketing from fans?
No, we did. I did twice. I remember on two different occasions where I got an unexplained package from DC, and it was like, couple of fan letters, and I just went, okay, cool. I came in, I think most of us, maybe we didn't. I came in late. I came in at the end of the letters column. There were still letters columns, but the internet was a thing, and people were writing on the DC Comics message board about how they felt. So there was just no reason to write letters anymore. And
they used to forward it if it was addressed to you.
Yeah, I got a couple when I was working on Quasar back in the early 90s. They sent me a couple, letters unopened that were, Marvel Comics, care of Andy Smith and whatever.
Yeah.
And they sent them to me.
They're sending you stuff anyway, usually paper stock and scripts back then. So they just would throw those things in there. The funniest thing was when I used to get them from King Features when I was working in the strips, because they're almost to the T. Every one of them was hate mail.
Oh my God!
Really?
Yeah. Because when I was working on that soap opera strip, Rex Morgan, MD. I took over from a guy whose last bit of reference was like from 1956. So this 30-year-old nurse is wearing these pearl necklaces and these June Cleaver dresses and stuff and this horrible hairdo and everything. So I come in and I just completely bring her into, the 21st century and give her modern clothes that a beautiful 30-something-year-old registered nurse would be wearing and stuff like that. And some of the hate letters that would come in were so funny because you could still smell the perfume on them from these old ladies.
Oh, no.
That's great. Yeah, and a 30-year-old, today doesn't look like a 30-year-old from 1956 either.
No, well, that's the whole point, know. And then when I was doing the Phantom, I got... I drew this scene where the Phantom and his wife, mind you, are in like this natural hot tub, and they're naked, and they have steam covering up the naughty bits and stuff like that. And my children, they read the comics and they shouldn't have to look and see this stuff,
Oh my God.
It's like, oh my God, Roy Crane used to draw topless women in his wash tub strip, back in the 30s, and now here we are in 2020s, whatever, and you're bitching and moaning because a husband and wife are having this romantic moment in a hot tub.
Hardcore pornography that you're putting in the
right
in front of kids, Graham.
Yeah, but meanwhile on the front page of the newspaper is the blue dress with the Bill Clinton's cum stain on it. And they're worried about
two wrongs don't make a right, Graham.
That's right. Don't you know that old saying?
Well, don't get mad, get even. That's another saying.
Yeah, I remember getting my first fan mail letter was like probably 2 weeks after She #1 came out. It was by Chuck Lowry, and Chuck Lowry, who became I found him on Facebook and we became Facebook friends, and he's from like Illinois or something like that, I think. And I just got, this letter from this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, to Crusade Comics, to Billy Tucci, whatever like that. And it was, oh man, I still have it.
That's cool.
Day.
I was gonna say the only time I ever got like positive fan mail was like when I was back in Studio Source back in the 90s, and we published Chicks through Image. We got some, a couple of letters came in, and when I first published Atomic Toy Box, which later became Power Cubed, I did the first issue through Image way back then, and I remember getting, one or two letters, came trickling into the studio, and we were like, "Wow, what is this?" So that was kind of fun. But I don't ever remember getting anything from Marvel or DC, in that regard.
When I was working with Jim Valentino on Myth Adventures early on in my career, I remember he got a letter, and he's like, you got to see this art. And he's kind of like, he's not worried about it. He's just kind of like almost entertained by it. And he hands it to me, and it says, "I want to kill you, Jim Valentino, for what you've done on Myth Adventures." And it was written, and it was just bold. It was with a red Crayola.
With a red Crayola that I had. Yeah, that's all I had. I was in
How old were you? You were like 5, and you're like, I can't abide by this.
I was 42.
And anyways, he's just kind of like, he's entertained by it, and it's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. I was like, holy shit, this guy bought your book and now he wants to kill you. This is nuts. And that was the first time I realized that like fandom can take this stuff to heart, man.
Just another day at the office.
That's right. There was one time at Extreme where Marat had been somebody sent him a loogie, some spit. Yeah, they basically said I'd spit on you, but you know, I'm not there, so here.
Wow.
They sent him a loogie in a Ziploc.
That's why you get PO boxes, man.
That's when you clone that guy and then you kill him. You kill the clone.
Speed up the cloning process to get him to the adult age he is, so you know it's not child murder.
Yeah, just imagine this is you.
Any of you guys remember that dude? He used to go to the Chicago cons back in the late 80s and 90s, and he'd come up to your tables, and he had a sketchbook, and he would stand in front of your table and wait for you to say something and look up to him, and he would stand there and he'd say, "Oh, can I help you? You know, you want to see my sketchbook?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure, why not?" And he'd give you the sketchbook, and every page in there is a drawing of him with some naked superhero girl. So it's like, you know, this is me and Wonder Woman, and this is me with, you know, Catwoman. You know.
Wow.
I've had some of the pages stuck together, you know.
That was Bo Smith, right?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I had some animator that apparently worked on Simpsons, and I always found it to be animators. David, you worked at Warner, of course you weren't an animator, but maybe you saw some of these guys floating around. But it always seems like animators are like the biggest porn pushers. This guy, it came up to me, and he had like the Simpsons, just pages and pages of the Simpsons having sex, and just I'm like, he shows this to me, and I just look at him and go, "What in the world makes you think I want to look at this?" And he was like,
Wrong with
you know, took him and, you know, scurried off. But I was like, seriously?
You're a Jetsons fan. You didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Jetsons.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, just the lack of social awareness. You know, that they would just assume anybody would, you know, want to take a look at this stuff is just beyond.
Yeah, you're right. The animators are like that. I had a teacher, Milt Neal, who was a Disney animator, and he used to tell us about how, you know, those guys, when they were on their off hours, would do like these dirty, you know, Minnie and Mickey cartoons.
Yeah. I remember him from the Keyword School.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this guy. He's like, "You take commissions?" And I go, "Yeah." I was at a con. He goes, "Well, I can't have you do it here." He goes, "But I'll be in contact with you." So he contacts me, and he's like, "I want to draw Rogue. I want you to draw Rogue with no clothes on, and she's behind bars." And so he describes this like it's basically a jail cell. And then he said, "This guy's coming in, this guard, and he's got a baton, and he's kind of popping it into his palm, and he's like, 'What do you think? How much would something like that cost?' And I was like,
Oh my God.
I was like, I don't really want to do it. I'm busy, you know, I'm trying to get out of it." And he keeps pushing this thing. It's like, "Really, man, it would be great if you could do it. I like the way you draw Rogue and everything." And he just keeps pushing it. So finally I had to tell him, I was like, "You want me to draw a rape scene?" And he was all like,
He's like, "Well, there's no penetration, Art. What's the problem?"
He's like, "What?" He goes, "How dare you?" Like he was all pissed off. And I go, "Okay, a potential rape scene." It was before the rape, and he's just like, "No, how dare you?" And he got all pissed off.
He goes, "You,
How dare you?" He said,
"How dare you?"
How dare you?
Yeah, that I would even think of it in that way. To him, it was harmless. It was just good, clean fun.
Why would your mind go there, Mr. Taber?
Yeah,
That's
I have the problem.
Art was like, "Okay, $5."
Yeah, charge a bunch of address.
We had the
Take
one
that
guy
$5.
came up to me in San Diego. Boy, this show has gone off the rails, hasn't it? But this one guy comes up to me in San Diego, and he goes, I'm looking for someone to do a series of commissions. And that's when you you already know you're in trouble, right? At that point, and you're like, well, what are you talking about? He wanted like Supergirl back like this, like she was powerless against apparently his might or something, and it was like a series of these. I'm like, I'm not your dude, man. You're gonna go, find somebody else.
Did he ask you about lamination?
Oh my God.
No.
Keep it clean, so you can reuse it.
That's right.
They're placemats, I swear.
Horrible.
It's an R-rated placemat. Yeah.
I know
one
this
wanted
guy.
me to draw.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say this one guy wanted me to. Okay, you go.
There's a delay, David. There's a delay. I'm sorry. There's been a delay all night.
No worries.
No,
It's like
No,
watching
no,
a kung fu flick.
no, I just know a fat guy who, he's like, "Can I show you a bunch of drawings that I did?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was a drawing of him naked fucking a shark who was crying. I think that was disgusting. But it's sold. It's sold for $800 on my
That's
CG art
Cecil.
auction. Yeah.
That's Cecil.
Oh, I didn't know you guys knew him.
Wait, did he draw the shark or himself?
I'm so sorry, David.
I can't top that, so I'll just leave that there.
No. You got it. You have to wipe that from our memories.
This guy just wanted me to. This guy wanted me to draw, like Batman on his lady's titties, and my wife was there. I was like, my wife was right here. You just gonna ask me to draw on your woman's titties? This was at San Diego Con. This is crazy, and I'm like, what have we come to? I'm not drawing on your woman's titties. Right here.
The worst part is those guys have a lot of money. Like that's why it's hard to say no, because those guys are throwing.
Yeah, but dude, I think I've drawn one sort of titty drawing before, but it was a Cherry, that character Cherry, whatever her name is.
Cherry,
so that's kind of like her bag. But after that one, I realized like I don't want my name on that shit. Like I don't give a fuck. It's like every time I see like a John Byrne drawing of like Storm getting railed by Scott or whatever, you just go, dude, you're fucking my childhood up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. This is like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see. I don't care how much I like someone's art, unless it's Dave Stevens, who he draws a beautiful naked lady anyhow. But I don't want to see a superhero guy or somebody. You don't want to see. You just don't want to see that shit. Number one. Number two, you don't want to sign your name to that.
Well, there's Cheesecake, like Dave Stevens stuff, but and even like Adam Hughes, but then there's like full-on pornography.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even consider like even a popular character like that Byrne did, like She-Hulk. If I don't want to see Hulk and She-Hulk fucking,
Or that's still pornography on some level.
Oh, absolutely. It's insane.
And it kind of fucks the brand up too. If you think about like your style is your brand, if there are images out and people go ahead, Google them, John Byrne, sexy time, but yeah.
Am I going to see John Byrne naked?
Yeah, you might.
I know that's the problem.
That's the risk you run.
But it's always weird, it's like, it's just weird. I'm trying to think of analogies, but it's just fucked up.
I agree.
Yeah, you don't.
It's like you know what? It's like the time you saw Mary Poppins. What's her face from Sound of Music and Mary Poppins? What was her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. The time I saw her topless, I was like, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah.
Like, fucked up Mary Poppins.
Where the hell did you see that?
That was in
It's out there.
Yeah, what movie is it?
He said Mary is popping.
Yeah.
I think it's in Victoria.
Or it was either SOB or was it Victor Victoria? It was one
I think it's Victor Victoria, I think.
Yeah.
Or it was SOB, one of the two.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it breaks the brand. You just go, oh, wait.
Just a spoonful of boobies makes Dan Fraga's boner go down in the most unfortunate way.
I want hands full. I don't want spoons full.
Yeah. I personally would like to see that. I would like to see Julie Andrews nude, fully nude. That would be fantastic. That'd be great. She's, yeah.
Well,
like
where
Truman Popper.
1963 or Julie Andrews now?
Where it works is
either one's fine.
Linda
I mean,
Carter.
she's
Hey, you're
holding
Julie
up.
Andrews now? What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
I mean, she's holding up for a 90-year-old. I think she's looking.
Hey, fried eggs, anyone?
Yeah. David, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I came in here and ruined everything.
Dave was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Hey, Mandible Smasher, thank you for the $5 super chat. His favorite artist is here. He wears glasses, balding, facial hair a bit gray. Well,
So it's not me.
down.
It's not me.
Well,
Got
there's
it.
4 guys
Yeah,
with
you got
hair
hair.
and 4 guys without
Oh, it's not
hair.
Dan either. It's not Frega. Yeah,
I had
good.
glasses on earlier, but I took them off.
I can't read the super chats if I don't wear my glasses. I can see a country mile.
Whoa.
Oh,
Damn.
I
Are
don't know
those
why
really
that
your
cracked me
glasses?
Are those really yours? Or
Big
those?
gas
No,
money.
those are so you could see micro details.
These are my Robert De Niro at the end of Casino spectacles.
Yeah.
Or a brick top from Snatch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you wear those to draw?
Yeah, I only need these to, well, and also to find my art table. I can't, you know, my eyesight's not what it used to be.
Yeah. That's one of the
Probably
things I
being
like about working
grand
digital is that, when you draw small figures and stuff, if you're inking small figures, oh my God, it's so hard anymore with my eyes on an actual Bristol. But doing digitally, man, I just go whoop, blow that sucker up, get what I need, and bring it right back down.
It's true.
It's funny. I just noticed we all right there for a moment. We're all wearing glasses, and I'm like,
Hang on, put mine on.
how
Hang
typical
on.
of this?
I want to put them on,
artist, right? We're all nearsighted, right? Or is it
Yeah.
nearsighted? Whatever.
I got
I'm
bifocal.
cool-sided.
I was just saying, we're all wearing glasses
Yeah,
except
David's
for David.
cool-sided.
He's wearing cool shades.
Yeah.
He's wearing his sunglasses at night. We can see the screen in Dave's shades.
He's looking at John.
Let me ask a nerd question. Let me ask a professional nerd question. Since we're all getting a little bit older in this game, has your pace been since you've gotten older? Have you gotten better, and since you know yourself better, or are you slowing down because of age?
Slowing down.
Not me.
You're
I'm
slowing down.
feeling,
Not me.
I'm feeling more confident, and I'm feeling more professional. I feel
Yeah,
like
I put more in.
I
That's
finally feel like I've grown up.
Yeah.
Like it's a job now. It's not like, wow, this is amazing. This is like, oh, it's a job. All right. I feel like more structured and I think I'm a far better draftsman and storyteller than I was. But I have since doing, Dave, we were talking about Indiegogos and stuff. When you do an Indiegogo and you have that crowdfunding and you're dealing directly with the fans, right? Their enthusiasm and their support for you is so contagious, man. And it's so inspiring, and you just want to give it your best. You just want to go. It's right. It's a sense of freedom, right? As opposed to working for someone else.
And you also have the time. I was working on a page today that it's a flashback to World War II where these Marines have to clear out a cave. So I made sure I had all the reference. I had, the different guns that the two guys were carrying and all that. And I took my time making sure everything was the way I wanted it, whereas when I worked for DC and stuff, I was a machine. I could bang out, 2 books a month if I had to. But now I'm like focusing on, yes, I've slowed down, but I've slowed down my tempo on purpose so that I could focus and make the art look even better.
Yeah, I was going to say your art.
money.
I think your art really has leveled up quite a bit. When I look
Yeah,
at
it's
it.
really good. Yeah. I find the fear, like I'm not
Thank you.
motivated by the fear as much as I was when I was working at Marvel and DC. So there was the deadline pressure to meet the deadlines. There's always fear that you're not going to find your next job. You know, it's a month-to-month contract and things like that. So I feel like I'm in a better place. I think I have more confidence now. And I think when the market started crashing, you know, a while back in comic book shops were having a hard time, crowdfunding was taken off. So, you know, I looked back and I was thinking, holy shit, I'm at the best place to be right now in the industry is, you know, CG and crowdfunding. Because we don't have to worry about those other things. Like Billy was saying, it's a one-on-one with the people in the chat. It's one-on-one with your backers. And if you can create something that they like and they enjoy, that's all you have to do, man. You don't have to play politics with the companies. You don't have to, you know, schmooze the other editors and, you know, and all that other stuff. You don't have to do any of that anymore.
Yeah, it's the David had brought it up, the begging. You know, you feel you feel like you're begging. You know, it's like, here's my samples. Hey, did you get my email? You know, like that was some bullshit. You know, and there's just the gatekeeping, and you know, you like deep in your heart, you know, you're good. You know, you're good enough. You know, you have the passion for it. It's your dream. It's all you ever thought of as a kid. And then there's some guy that, you know, he's going to give it to his buddy, or that guy doesn't like you because you did something 10 years ago, so you're never working there.
Yeah.
You know, it's some bullshit.
Or he works cheaper than you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to get a cover spot on the recent Batman and Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And over at, was it IDW? Was that at IDW?
Yeah.
I think so. And the editor over there, I can't even remember his name, so I won't mention his name. He said, "Can you show me samples?" I'm like, "Do you know how long I've been in this game? I got to show you." He wanted me to show him samples of how to draw, if I could draw a Ninja Turtle or not. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And I just, you know, that's when I was like, "Okay, I'm done with this." You know, and I was just like, you know, and not too long after that, you know, Mitch called and he was just like, you know, I was like, "Yes, I'll take it. I'll do this," you know, because I shouldn't have to resubmit my stuff again, me being in this business for like 30 years, you know, over. And it's insane. But, you know, I had another question because, you know, I don't crowdfund like you guys, and you guys understand it. I was thinking I was going to go into doing it because I see some people, they'll say, "Okay, here's my crowdfunding idea, and here's just a couple of pages of it, and the rest of the book isn't done." But some people could fall into a trap of, you know, taking too long to put said books out. But my intention was literally to have the book done, you know, just to let people know, hey, it's done, you know. Is that a bad idea or not? Or what would be the best advice as far as, you know, as an artist creator to get it out there and to convince people to trust you on said property?
You can financially get the book done before you solicit it or before you crowdfund. Holy crap! I think it would instill a lot of confidence. I think people would love it because they know that they're going to get the book, you know, quicker.
Yeah.
So
if you really get your first one out of the gate, you know, it shows you're reliable.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not what crowdfunding is for.
Yeah, exactly.
See, the thing about it is that, you know, if you have the book done, put it on eBay, put it on Amazon. You know, crowdfunding is for you know, you to say, I want to make this book, but I can't afford it. You know, I can't afford to pay myself. I can't afford to pay the people who I need in production, and I can't afford to pay for the printing bill. So I'm going to ask you guys to invest in me being able to do this book. So if you know, doing a crowdfund for a book that's already finished makes zero sense to me. And if I were you, I would put the book that you have finished up there, and then I would crowdfund the sequel. And say it's not done yet. This is the first book. The second book, I need help. It's going to be, 80 pages, and I need $20,000 to do it. We'll raise that money for you. We'll raise more than that for you, and then you can, you'll have the money to pay yourself as you draw the book and prepare the next one. And that's what crowdfunding is for. There's no real reason to just be like, hey, I'm collecting pre-orders for a book that's already done. It doesn't make any sense.
I think there's probably a middle, though, because a book can be done, but maybe you can't afford the printing, the distribution.
That's a reason to crowdfund.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I took from David's question is, and I could be wrong, but when you say done, my first thought is you have the pencils and inks done, but you still need to get it colored and lettered and all that as well.
Mm-hmm. Printed.
So like if you go into it just going, hey guys, I'm crowdfunding this because I've got my part done, pencils and inks, but I still got to pay for coloring and lettering and printing and all that. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
I mean, ultimately,
that's what
for
it would
me,
be.
Crowdfunding for me is about getting capital to be able to do other things. So, I'm saying I'm going to make this comic book. It's going to come with all these extra things. And the backers who give me the capital are certainly rewarded with all these bonuses and extras. They get the books that I create at the lowest possible price. They get them first. But mostly what it is it's an opportunity for me to get free capital. There's no investment. I don't have to pay it back to any bank for me to make more frog shit. And that's what it is. It's all about me going, okay, I make $200,000. 80,000 of it I need in order to make the project that I promised people and fulfill it. The other 120, I'm making toys. I'm making cards. I'm making trading card binders. I'm making t-shirts and baseball caps. And I'm selling those and taking that $120,000 and turning it into $200,000. That's all profit. And that's essentially the way you should be approaching crowdfunding. It's about, getting capital to make more things and grow this business that you should be involved in. It's not just about one comic book, David. Think about your entire franchise, the David Williams universe that you were talking about earlier, building that up and making it into something that is self-sustaining. And crowdfunding is unbeatable because, again, most people have to take out loans and get investors and all this bullshit in order to have a business, and then they hope it's sustainable. There's no possible way that you can fail with crowdfunding unless you fail your customers, unless you fail the backers. So I recommend it, but put yourself in that right headspace where you're going to take this idea that you have and you're going to grow a business from it.
Yeah, the old crowdfund idea was to have the book done prior to launching. But that was years ago. So I think like what Ethan's talking about and what Comicsgate does is it's almost like it's a movie. So there's a producer, and the producer secures the money, the funds to make the film. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're pitching an idea, and then we're seeing if we can get producers and we can get investors involved so we can finish our movie, which is our book.
Mayfield Juke says that he loves the sneak peeks as the book gets produced. And I pulled this up because just as we were sitting here talking, I just had 2 pages come in from Greg Wright for the color on. I thought maybe I would share it with you guys.
Ooh, let's see.
Greg Wright is so good.
Yeah, I like what you've shown so far.
There it is. Can you see guys see that?
Now this is the same Greg Wright who was former editor at Marvel Comics, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's all nice until you realize what those things falling from the sky.
Yeah. It's all ooh and ah, and there's running and screaming.
He's going up there to look at Sputnik, and then this thing comes down.
It's the Green Lantern Corps by Darwin Cook.
Yeah.
Dad just did some LSD with the Beatles.
Yeah.
Nice.
All
nice
ties in together.
He's sweating it out right now.
There
It
you
looks
go,
great.
guys.
I love the cool. I love the
That's
cool
awesome.
colors of the nighttime skygram, and then you come inside the warmth of the house
Right.
Yeah.
with the fire.
Yeah, I was going to say I like the
Brilliant.
color palette he
Yeah,
has
that's
going
great.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great.
Very Southwest too. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff.
I'm going
Great
to steal your colorist.
So there you go. You guys got to see it first right here on this show.
Looks
Excellent.
great.
That's awesome.
Can I show you my new Salamandroid drawing?
Yeah, do it.
Ooh.
All right. I haven't really shown this publicly yet. You guys have seen it though.
I was going to say,
Oh my God, it's so great.
it's so good.
All right. So I'm going to premiere it to your
Coming out.
audience here. Let me just find it and then I'll pull it up real
Professional
quick here.
exclusive, guys.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Massive.
This is really cool. Now, more and more people in the mainstream are starting to realize that crowdfunding is the way to go. You know, whether or not you choose to be comics, you should choose to be Comicsgate because it just makes the most sense. But whether or not you choose to be Comicsgate, crowdfunding is definitely the way of the future for creators who have been exploited by Marvel and DC for decades, and that's pretty much everyone here. And we got another one coming over to join us, and it's Dale Keown. If you share my screen. Dale Keown's Salamandroid.
Yeah, make that larger.
Cyberfrog's big brother there.
That is so cool.
So we're getting. He's doing this in layers. We're going to turn this into a lenticular cover, and I think we're going to do a Salamandroid mini series. Dale is going to be drawing comics for me, which is not at all what I was expecting. I was just like, "Can I just get a cover from you?" Dale's going to be doing some comics, and I think I'm gonna. He wasn't particular about what. I think it'll be a Salamandroid series because look at this.
I know, that's awesome. He's so huge. I mean, that's right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Did you send that off to Kyle for colors yet?
No. I'm not going to do anything until Dale tells me it's like finished. I think he wants to ink it. So he's sending this to me in layers. He just sent me this morning, and then we're going to do a wraparound cover for Cyberfrog 3. That's going to have everyone on it. It'll have Cyberfrog, Heather, and Salamandroid on it. This is just a doodle. He's just doing this for fun.
Oh, cool.
So.
Oh my gosh.
I love that tail. That's so awesome.
He said to me, I like the tail. I'm going to have it curled up and like a cobra ready to strike. And so that's the shape that he found with the tail. He thinks the tail is autonomous, like Dr. Octopus's legs. And I'm like, sure, of course it is, Dale. Whatever you say.
It is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So very, very happy with that. And that's, there's a lot of just creative energy right now around Comicsgate. A lot of people are just doing what they want to do, making good money. And those who are able to do it, those who get their books finished and take care of their backers and put their backers first, succeed gloriously and make tons and tons and tons of money. Those who fail, we say bye-bye to.
500 confirmed.
People are buying baseball caps all of a sudden. Okay, all right. I'm
Grant,
modeling one.
Can I share since we're
of course.
Okay, let's see if I can click all the right buttons here. Sweet. Okay, so this is what I've been up to on Black and White. Can you see it? There it is.
Oh, I love.
Whoa.
I'm gonna steal your. No, I can't say that because Kyle will get upset. Your colorist is amazing
That's awesome.
too.
Beautiful.
So
Very
cool.
nice, Art. Great
So
job,
cool.
Art.
Thanks. Yeah, so this will probably be the cover to issue 1. I have another piece that I'm working on now. And so 3/4 of the book is laid out and written. So we're just taking care of some corporate things right now. Hack Shack Studios from California to Texas. So we have some legal stuff so we have to take care of before we set up, the pre-launch page and all that other stuff. But I'm thinking within a month, we should be launching Black and White Volume 2.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Did you change the design on Black's
awesome.
face? It looks different.
It might be. I think it's mostly just, the more you draw, the better you get.
Sure.
So I do get a little bit of that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well done.
That was great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic.
I got a
So
big batch going out tomorrow. A huge batch of books. Probably another, I don't know, 600-700 of them are going out tomorrow.
I
And
got
then another
mine.
batch, hopefully another 500 are going out Friday. I mean, no, too bad. Yeah, maybe 1,000 going out tomorrow.
That
Thank
gives me
you,
Okay.
Dan.
goosebumps. Love
There
that.
you go.
Yep. Thank you. I'm going to take
Oh, yeah.
pictures, EBS. So we
I
have
love
our dueling
fulfillment.
pictures. I love it too.
We got to make
Yeah.
fulfillment hip so that people fulfill. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like, it does feel good. You know, what's his name? Aubrey Sitterson, who is no fan of Comicsgate, and he's a leftist,
Oh, yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
he said something really cool. He's like, I don't understand why people don't want to fulfill their own comic books. There's nothing better than packing up a package for somebody who paid for your work. I mean, it's a great feeling. And you don't get that in mainstream comics at all. You know, somebody goes to a shop and kind of arbitrarily might buy your comic, but actually somebody who supported you and took a chance on you, you finally get to give them the book they were waiting for. There's no better feeling than that. So when you're loading up your truck with all those packages, dude, I fucking love it. I love those pictures, man.
Crazy.
Great.
It's
And
crazy.
I love when they start posting the pictures, like the unwrapping. Like you know, they get it. They finally got it. They've waited, half a year or a year to get this book, and it comes, and it goes beyond what they were hoping for.
I remember we sent you. I love when you're fulfilling it, and I'll come in to start working on stuff, and then I'll see someone's package I know, like yours, Graham. I think I called you hippie or something, on it, and then the Falcone boys they threw some things in for you.
Oh yeah,
they weren't so fast. I'm like, I have an I had Army Men and a cigar for you that I was going to throw in there too.
I know, I missed that, but
and we're like, where is it? Now it's in a pile of 1,000 other books. Like, oh, all right, we'll.
Did you draw the Winchester on there too?
Yeah, I drew the Winchester. See with the rifleman's with the loop. Yeah, I drew that.
Chuck Connors approves, and he drew.
Yeah, that's right.
Rankabot Billy, his super chat, and wants to know if his is going out tomorrow.
I don't know.
Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah, well, I don't know, Rankabot. You should, once I believe the labels are made, I think you get a notification that it was fulfilled. So if you didn't get the notification yet, then if it's not going out this week or tomorrow, it'll go out next week. At the latest, the week after. We're trying to really condense and be fast. And I got to tell you, ShipStation is amazing. CrowdOx and ShipStation have been amazing with us. It has really cut down our fulfillment time tremendously.
Thanks, Vanessa. Awesome. Yeah, David, this is a great community. We'll help you, when you're ready to, if you have any questions. We got literally dozens of people here who are at various levels of expertise that'll help you out. I will, if you want my help. You've got everyone here who's going to help you succeed. And that's the kind of community that we're building. It's a different comic book industry, but I'm having more fun. I think almost everybody who's involved with it is having more fun than they did in the mainstream.
Rankabot, do you live near me? I'm trying to remember. I'm getting the names mixed up because I'm sure we're friends. I know we've had this conversation.
It's Chris Renkowitz.
Yeah, he does, because he was the one on Twitter that said, "How did you get yours before me? I live 15 minutes away from him."
Heck yeah, Chris. We'll go to to my favorite the greatest Scottish restaurant in the world, McDonald's. No, we go to Chris. Well, Saturday, Chris. I know what you're doing. We're going to be fulfilling Saturday if you want to come down if it wasn't mailed yet. But send us an email. Send us a message.
You're not going to get this at DC or Marvel. I mean, Billy's going to go hang out and hand you.
Meet me at the Legion Hall. We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you on Saturday.
Yeah. And back to what Ethan was saying, this is such a supportive community. This isn't about fighting each other for that job. There's an opening on Batman, and everybody fighting for that. No, everybody's doing their own thing, but we're all doing it together. We're giving. If you need help, who's a good printer, or where do I get patches made, or whatever, you can reach out. Hey, this is who I use. This is who I use. We share information because
we know what it's like.
Yeah,
we know what it's like. We are brothers and sisters in all of this. We've all, it's the one kid with the football who, like Marvel with their characters or DC with their characters, it's like too cool for school.
Yeah, but it's like when you look good, we all look good, and that's the main thing. It's like when Billy succeeds, I look good. When Dan succeeds, I look good. Everybody we're supportive of each other because we want to see the entire community succeed. So that's the great thing. That's the mobilizing energy behind Comicsgate is just people wanting other people to succeed. We're not borrowing corporate characters. That's what's so great about it. It's all our own stuff. Who just disappeared?
Aaron.
What the hell?
Oh, Lepresti just disappeared. Oh.
One of my favorite parts about what we're all creating is they're nothing like our Marvel and DC characters. Like, these are, for the most part, kind of just the opposite of what we're known for. Ethan's drawn frogs,
Dito, when Ethan succeeds, no one looks good. And we're not a cult, David. That's the main thing I want to tell you. When we finally tell you about the alien in the volcano, you're going to be ready to believe it.
I already got my Kool-Aid. What the hell? Now you're telling me we're not a cult?
Heaven's Gate was great, but this is Comicsgate. And we're like Heaven's Gate times times 2. Everybody gets a free pair of Nikes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And a tracksuit.
Well, I've been talking to.
I'll throw that in too.
I've been talking to Frege and Graham for a while and stuff, and Frege actually gave me this camera that I'm talking into. That's how backwards I am technology-wise, and Graham is helping me with getting the latest tablet to draw on the computers and stuff like that. Since I'm so old school, and I occasionally see you guys in your videos and stuff, and while I'm drawing, I listen to you guys. It's almost like I'm in a studio environment. So, I go to each and every one of you guys' channel. Sometimes I'll chime in and, troll you guys a little bit, but it's mostly just to feel a little bit of camaraderie, as if I'm in a studio drawing, so I don't feel so alone. But, all of you guys are pretty entertaining and keeps me going, So I appreciate the offer, Ethan. I may take you up on it.
You got it, pal.
It feels like history. I think this feels like, if we can hang on for another year or so, this will be a mark in the comic history books. CG and this movement that we're currently, doing, that we're in the middle of. I really do think, Image had its day, Marvel had its day, and I think that CG will, and I think all those critics and all those people that badmouth what we're doing, I think they're going to see, in time that they should be doing this too,
Yeah, you know what? That's the message to almost everybody that's still holding on to that corporate mentality is you better start thinking about positioning your stuff, positioning yourself for success moving down the road, because this is like the buggy whip manufacturer, and that buggy whips have been needed for 300 years, and then all of a sudden Henry Ford starts making cars and they don't see it happening, but it's happening, and you got to start branching out.
Then there's that one idiot that holds out and he's whipping his Model T with the frickin' whip like it's
What's going to be some of these guys?
Don't beat yourself up so much.
Yeah. Oh, look, I can draw Batman for now $40 a page.
Yeah, exactly. But they're going to learn fast though that we all get reached out by other pros and stuff who are looking to do it. It's not easy. Because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and it ain't easy.
Whole new skill sets.
Yep. And you got to bust your ass, and you got to be out there.
You're spinning plates constantly.
Yep.
You're constantly spinning plates. But the reward is unbeatable.
Well, have you ever heard the Todd McFarlane? It's kind of the spinning plates thing. He's like he uses the juggling analogy, and he's like, you have to figure out how many balls you can keep up in the air at any particular time. Some people can do 3, some people can do more.
Two is plenty for me, Art. I don't need. How many balls does one guy need? Just
just one ball. Or just
two is fine. My pair, Yeah, it's
all
cool.
Everybody needs is your pair. We're gonna juggle Ethan's balls.
No, wait, that's not what I was saying at all.
No,
that's not what I was
I'll
saying.
take a pass.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No offense, but I'll pass.
But just know 2 balls are pretty easy to juggle. You throw in a 3rd ball, it gets a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Let's keep it the time flashbacks to the 80s.
This is the Brofessionals.
He was a juggler for like the Renaissance Pleasure Fair. And so I was fairly decent at it at one point. So I could keep up. So I could keep 4 balls in the air.
I've never heard it called by its full name. I always heard it called Ren Fair. And you just straight up called it Renaissance Pleasure Fair. Like
they always throw the pleasure in there. Yeah,
I've never heard it called that.
The Renaissance Pleasure Fair,
the Renaissance Festival.
Maybe that. Yeah, Ren Fair, man. But Art, you put the pleasure in the Ren Fair.
Pleasure in it.
It's a pleasure to be there. I don't think they do it anymore where you could throw the axe at the target.
Oh yeah, with a fucking
axe bar
turkey
here in town.
drumstick. You got that big caveman lump of meat in your hand and throwing an axe in another, grabbing the thing of meat and just
huzzah! You got
exactly.
Wenches abound.
Yes. Have that wench get me a flagon of ale.
Yes. Braga has only one big ball. Art has 2 but very small.
Wow, what the fuck, man?
Andy.
Wait, I'll show you mine. I'll show you this side.
And poor old Graham has no balls at all.
That's the next Brofessionals.
How many balls can you juggle? Next Brofessionals.
You know that song "Do Your Ears Hang Low"?
Do they wobble to and fro?
No.
Was it balls originally?
I thought it was your chain. I thought it was your chain hang low, like a.
No, I'm sure that they changed the lyrics so the kids could sing it, but it's like a World War I song, and I'll bet it was "Do Your Balls Hang Low." Can you tie him in a knot? Can you tie him in a bow?
Wow, man!
Can you?
I think it was. I don't know that for a fact, but I listened to the lyrics and I go, your ears hang low, you idiot. It's not ears. Nobody's ears hang low.
Not until you're like 80 or 90.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Somebody do the research on that and get back to me.
What was the other one? Can you throw them over your shoulder like a continental soldier?
They're already over your shoulder if they're your ears.
Yeah, but if they're your balls.
I'm saying if they're your balls, then that's something.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. I'm saying, with the continental.
Saying you have big balls in combat. That's probably what that song originated. If you got the balls to go over,
some SJ Dead
over the wire
turned it into an earlobe.
I'll tell you, man, those low hanging balls are not a sight you want to see. Like you always get. I used to go to the gym early mornings because it was like,
oh man, you go that early, you got those old guys in there.
That's exactly right.
They got no problem dropping that towel.
That guy,
and you're like,
or they do the one legger, where they put the leg up and the fucking just, hey, there's Snoopy's nose, just fucking hanging.
Exactly. Exactly.
I can't wait for those days. I might just hang my balls just for the hell of it,
Once you're that old, man, you just want to show them to somebody.
Yeah, I've earned this hang.
How low can you go, Dan?
I don't know, man.
We'll find out.
How low can you go?
Somebody cue up AC/DC's Big Ball song.
Big balls!
I got big balls. You got big balls.
That's right.
I've got the biggest balls of all.
Ethan's got the biggest balls.
All right, let's how about them Mets, everybody? Huh?
Graham just kicked himself.
How about them Phillies, Ethan?
Phillies are going to kill the Mets tomorrow. I cannot wait. I have not been to a baseball game. My Phils are doing great this year.
Where are you going tomorrow? Is that what you said?
Going tomorrow night and bringing the whole family. We're sitting in the Diamond Club. So We're right behind. You'll be able to see us on TV. Probably you'll be able to see us. We'll be right behind the plate.
That's cool.
And drinking beers and hoping that none of these filthy Mets. Billy, are the Mets your team?
No, I'm a Yankees fan.
All right, good. None of these dirty Mets, hit our players in the face with fastballs again.
Oh my, yeah. What was up with
Did
that?
you see that shit?
That happened already this year?
Yeah,
It happened yesterday.
Yesterday,
I don't watch baseball.
Terrible.
Really?
Ridiculous.
You got it right in the
Accident.
face, huh?
Yeah.
But holy crap.
I mean, I tweeted it. Hold on, let me find this, and you will be outraged by this, even if you don't like baseball. These are my fills, and they're doing good this year. I mean, they're not, it's not like it's 1992 again, but they're doing pretty good. And then immediately threatened by how great that they are. Let me show you this, if you don't mind. I'll share my screen.
Fighting words here.
The Mets will crush the Phillies.
Well, I don't. Why do you say that? They will not. Hold on a second here. I think my fills are pretty determined after what happened. Now check this out. You're going to be outraged as a man, I'm sure. Okay, hold on. Ready? And share my screen now, if you wouldn't mind. Ready? Here we go. Watch this. Right in the face.
Oh, God.
Oh,
right in the face.
But was that on purpose, or did that get away from you?
No, it wasn't.
The curveball that didn't break.
The next batter, he hit him in the ribs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, I better stop this. I don't know if you're allowed to share too much
Wow,
MLB,
man.
but
Wow.
That pitcher's out of control. Yeah.
Bryce Harper, he's one of our
Rankowitz is
Yeah, he's throwing some shade here your way, man. Harper is a baby.
It says the Mets are going to crush the Phillies.
We'll see, but I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that was a 97-mile-per-hour fastball right here that hit him.
Surprised he didn't break his face.
Yeah.
He got up and walked it off.
Yeah.
That's a real man right there for you.
Jeez.
That's
So he hit the next batter as well in the ribs?
Yeah, hit him in the ribs. They had to yell at him and tell him to get out of here. They say, why don't you throw the ball over the fucking plate,
Right. Did he get pulled? Did the pitcher get pulled?
Yeah, they pulled him. They pulled him out.
Yeah,
he
was out of control.
Did he get thrown out of the game, or did
thrown out of the game, pulled off the mound, and
Just pulled off the mound, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I meant did the ump or did the manager?
I think I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
if he
sure.
didn't do it intentionally, then the manager pulled him because they can't afford it.
You hit two players in a row.
Yeah.
Because if you get hit, you walk. So now there's two people on base.
Right.
So that's not good.
That's not good either, but also giving a guy, breaking his cornea.
There's always retaliation.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Oh.
Well, that's what I always liked about National League play. I'm a Yankees fan, but I don't like the designated hitter. I think the pitcher should swing the bat.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the games, the National League games are like 45 minutes shorter.
Well, yeah, and you have to snowball. You got to move your players around. You can't just. There's nothing worse than having Aaron Judge get up with bases loaded and whiff, because that's all he could do is reach for the fences.
Yeah.
You need a guy with roads who can punch one through and just hit for bases.
Yeah, remember George Carlin's joke about making baseball more interesting? He's saying instead of dropping your bat after you hit it, keep that bat and swing it around when you're running. And then he said what would be interesting is to have the catcher, how they have to squat, have it a midget so they can stand up and catch the ball. And I forget something. Oh, he said have pitchers have time limits. So if they don't pitch the ball within a certain time, an alarm will go off.
Well, they have that now.
They're doing that.
They have that now.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, it's in the minor leagues.
Yeah, Ethan, have you ever have you ever gone through the Diamond Club before?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it glorious? Because we have the Legends Club. I don't know, Graham, if you ever did a Yankee stay in the Legends Club.
No, I haven't.
And there's like this massive meal. They have like stone crab legs and steak and chicken and it's all free. It's all part of your tickets. And then, like Ethan said, you sit behind the dugout on these really cushiony chairs, and they come out and they ask you for more food, and it's awesome.
Nice.
It's awesome.
It's the only way to see a baseball
It's the
game.
only way to see a baseball. You know what? Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have to wear a mask when you go?
That I don't know. I'm going to bring one, and I hope that I don't. They have supposedly they have the seats sectioned off in pods.
Okay.
So I hope that means that I don't have to wear a mask through the entire fucking baseball game. That would be an outrage.
This guy just got choked out recently at a baseball game for eating a hot dog but taking down his mask, and he got choked out because he wasn't wearing his mask while he was eating. I was just like, "Are you people retarded? What's the matter with you?"
What city was that in?
I can't remember. I'll find the clip and I'll send it to you. I can't remember.
So what you're
It was
supposed
ridiculous.
to take? You're supposed to move the mask, take a bite, and then put the mask back on and chew. Is that what you're?
That's what they say. Like
And he-
California
yeah.
and stuff.
You pull the mask back, you put the hot
Yeah,
dog
but-
in it, and then you let the mask push it into your face.
Like a cartoon? Yeah.
This is like it's okay. Like last night, what a disaster! All of our political elite, they're all vaccinated. You know what I
they're
mean? They
so
all live in
far
this
away
bubble,
from each
and they're
other.
all wearing masks.
Yeah, and they're all
I
more
have
than
to-
6 feet away.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think that the Dems, I think your president, I think your vice president, I think your Speaker of the House, I think that they're anti-vaxxers. They don't believe in the vaccine. They've been vaccinated. Right? They've been vaccinated. Why wear the friggin' mask? They're anti-vaxxers, and there's no room for anti-vaxxers in my life. Let me tell you,
There's no room. It's intolerable.
there's no room, and they're anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
It's a long story. My Aunt Marie took me my first Yankee game when I was like in second grade, and it was at Shea Stadium. She was a big Yankee fan. If I went to a Met game first, I would have been a Met fan. So, and then I went to my first Islander game in like fourth grade. So there you go.
I went to a Mets game first when I was a kid at Shea Stadium, but I became a Yankee fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Graham learned to hate them.
Yeah. Bobby Mercer hit a home
He
run,
learned young.
and I became He became like my
But
hero.
I did get to see Bob Gibson pitch because they were playing the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
growing up in the Bay, as Dave knows, you're either an A's fan or a Giants fan, or you like them both. But we had Raiders, Niners, we had the A's and the Giants, and they were so close together. I mean, 20 minutes apart. It's crazy. And
I used to
you
go to
ended
all
up.
those A's games.
Oh yeah.
I've been
I
a
just
Phillies
realized,
guy since 1980. Michael Jack Schmidt, Pete Rose, Tug McGraw. My Phils are going to kill the Mets tomorrow.
That's
And
the
all
year
this
you guys
weekend.
you guys won the World Series that year, didn't you?
Yes, 1980.
Yeah, because 79 it was Pittsburgh, and then 81 it was the Yankees again.
That's right. Ronald Reagan became president
Oh,
right after we won the World Series. And F all of you Mets fans. And don't back my comics. Those of you, no, just if you don't like my Phillies, don't buy my book.
don't buy my books.
He's going to get refund emails going, I
Oh,
was
shit.
kidding.
Me and my big mouth.
Don't buy my book.
Yeah, then don't buy my book.
Oh God. That shit's fucking. Every time you have her on your intro, I gag.
I keep it on there just to say this is why. This is the attitude. This is the attitude that killed mainstream comics. And it's nothing. It's not her personally. You know, I mean, even though she is wretched, it's not her. It's just her attitude is pervasive among mainstream SJW comic book pros. And we must never forget, you know, it's like that's how they feel about you.
Yeah.
That is why you must buy Frog Comics and She Comics and First Man Comics and Black Flag Comics and Alien Crab Comics.
Yes.
And Black and White Comics.
I would
And then
tell
whatever
them
David
that.
does.
I would tell these people that the pros, some mainstream people, and like get into arguments with them, and I'm like, they're not your books. Those are Marvel's books.
Yeah.
You do your own book, crowdfund your own book and have an Indiegogo campaign for your own book. Then it's your book with your own character. This isn't your damn book.
Yeah, they get awful territorial. They get awful territorial with somebody else's IP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before. It's like they refer to him as my book. It's like, well, it's not your book.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Deb.
Hello.
Hey, Deb.
Hello,
Deb,
Deb, hi.
I don't know if you know David. This is my wife,
Yep.
Deborah. This is
David looks very familiar,
All right.
so I know I've seen him somewhere.
Yeah, we met before.
the superstar.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah. Honey, Rankabot. Chris, what's his name? Chris what?
Rankowitz.
Rankowitz.
We know. Did Chris Rankowitz's book go out? Nice Polish boy. Rankevich? Should be Rankevich, right?
You expect me to know?
Yeah, you should know
3,000
these
names?
things. Yeah, you should know that. Come on.
Out of the
You can't
1,000.
rattle off all the backers' names.
Yeah, well, you get on it and you
Actually,
come back and you
there's-
tell me. Go ahead.
There's a pretty good likelihood that it did, right?
Well, he lives by
Because-
us, so he can maybe come by Saturday when we're
Oh,
fulfilling.
that's so
Yeah.
nice. Thank you.
Come on by. He wants to go to McDonald's.
He's a good dude.
He wants to know what you're cooking that day.
I'll cook, but there's no McDonald's
Deb doesn't do it. We haven't had McDonald's in a long time,
because it's
like a
poison.
decade or more.
Thank you, Deb. She's right.
Oh, it's crap.
Pure
When was the last
fucking
time I went to
toxic
McDonald's?
garbage.
Me and Fragaboom had a good conversation about food not long ago, right?
Yeah.
Clean, healthy eating.
Whatever,
And
whatever,
bourbon.
vegan nerds.
Oh, dude, I'm not vegan. I'm not vegan, man. I like it all. But
I enjoy my meat, man.
All
I
right.
There you
agree
go.
with Deborah. I
Yeah,
also like
man.
clean food.
I knew
They
it
asked
was
me to come
coming.
up
Hey, you're on the
What-
Brofessionals, babe. You want to hang with the Brofessionals?
No,
This
you
isn't-
asked me to
This
come
isn't the
over.
ma'am festivals, ma'am. Ma'am.
She's gonna punch you,
This
right?
ain't the
Oh,
bitch
this is
festival
amazing.
Yeah.
professionals. This is the Brofessionals. No bitch professionals.
Oh shit.
Oh shit! And his screen goes dark.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
does happen.
There goes his mute.
Yeah.
There goes his camera.
You know how we
Exactly.
started this thing with like people getting hurt?
Yeah, we're gonna
Billy
end it
get
that way.
hurt right
Okay.
here.
Right.
Meet Hela, goddess of death.
I looked up to see if Chris Rankevich's book came out.
I
Went
will
out.
go check.
Thank you. Good
And then
girl.
she'll punch your lights out.
She's a good girl. She is. She can kick me in the face. She has literally kicked me in the face before. Look at my messy studio. I'm throwing everything out of my studio. Look at the mess.
Oh damn.
It'll all be clean in a few weeks.
What is going on?
Hey,
Well, that's
sometimes
why
you gotta
you do it
throw out the baby with the bathwater, bro. You gotta you collect so much crap over all the years. I'm like, this is getting thrown out. This is getting thrown out.
I do it once a month, man. I go through my studio once
That's
a month.
nice.
Yeah, I have
Wow,
to.
that's-
Look how
My
neat
studio
and
looks like a
orderly.
hand grenade went off in it.
Oh, Dan's studio's neat and
Oh,
orderly.
yeah, it looks nice.
Sure,
Yeah.
it looks
Kinda.
like it's bisexually lit.
Yeah.
But
I got all the books back here.
nice.
That's where that shit is.
You know, a neat studio is evidence of a neat and orderly creative mind, and you can see.
Well, it's all the cannabis ash all over the place. I have to, dust it off.
You know, no joke. I routinely had this kind of thing where I said, nobody gives me drugs. None of my fans give me drugs. I don't know where everybody's getting these drugs. I have been getting drugs in my P.O. box now. My fans are officially sending me drugs and drug paraphernalia. I have more
Fans,
drugs
man.
than you could throw a stick at. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how
Well,
to
would
do
you rather
drugs.
get that or get what Shane got?
What did Shane get?
Yeah, what did Shane get?
Oh, Shane got the
You
sex.
know, the
Oh, the-
fleshlight.
From Riley
Oh,
Reid?
he got sex toys. Yeah. I don't want that. I'd rather have drugs. I just don't. I don't know how to do them. I don't know how to smoke the weed. I don't know how to do that. You
No
know,
weed. You don't know how to do weed?
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do pot.
I don't know
No,
how to take weed either. I never tried. I never took weed in my life. So I
Hey,
don't know.
Billy, once you start injecting the pots, you're going to be fucked up for life.
I don't want to inject the pot.
Worse than heroin.
Ethan, did you make a bet with somebody? Oh, you got to refund. his-
no, because
his money.
he said I'm a Mets fan, and I just said, you know what, Mets fans can all go to hell, and then I ate my words, and then I
He
said,
said,
oh
Go buy my
no,
book.
yeah, I probably have some Mets fans who backed my comic, and I felt stupid.
Tokes for
But we're going to destroy you tomorrow. We're going to destroy you, and I'm going to live stream it. You're going to see me
I'm going
live
to
streaming.
turn on alerts, guys. Swipe that notification bell.
You're
up.
going to see me laughing at all you Mets fans when my Phillies shut you out. It's
Hey,
just
do they
Like,
have?
rank about.
Does the Diamond Club? Does the Diamond Club have pie?
I don't know. We'll find out.
We
I was
need
gonna
to.
say,
We
you'll
need.
find
We need a
out.
pie.
I would
stream.
imagine they do.
Pie stream.
Yes, pie stream.
We need to send
Diamond stream. That's badass. Coming to you with diamond vision.
You send Ethan some papers or a pipe.
I got both of those. You know, yeah, I don't know what to do with them. What am I going to do? Just throw them out, I guess.
You gotta
I
get good
appreciate it
tobacco
though.
Down
with
the
that pipe
dam.
I got you, though. You gotta smoke real tobacco with a pipe.
Well, I do. You know, you sent me the tobacco. I don't know how to
Oh, I
smoke
did?
the tobacco either. I have cigars. I'll smoke cigars all day.
There
long.
we go. Now we're talking.
That's it. That's
Perfect.
Graham Nolan and I were talking about smoking cigars today, weren't we, bud?
Yes, we were, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Laced with cannabis.
Speaking of cigars, I saw this article that they're trying to ban flavored cigars and menthol cigarettes, which really pisses me off because, you know, if you're going to get a blunt, you go down and you get like a grape swisher and you break it up. You know, I don't like that idea.
Flavored cigars are crap. They should be outlawed.
Yeah.
I don't think-
No. You don't smoke them. You use the wrapper.
Oh, I hear what you're saying, man.
Yeah, you buy like a bunch of grape swishers because you like the grape flavor or whatever, and you break them out. You take that garbage out, and
Graham's
you put
getting sick of this
your
beatnik
good stuff
shit.
in.
Look at him.
There's Lepresti.
There he is.
I had a
There he goes. He gives us the Irish goodbye, and then he shows up.
no. The thing crashed or something. I couldn't get back on. So
Oh, okay.
finally, I had to restart my computer. So anyway,
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Well, Aaron, who do you
And I
have
ate
on
dinner.
who do you have on the big game, the Mets or the Phillies?
I'm not a big Phillies fan. I'm not necessarily a Mets fan, but I'm more of a Mets fan than I'm a Phillies fan. So there, how's that?
Okay.
Well, now
you
you can
just lost
fight.
Ethan as a
Well,
friend.
settle one more thing for us, Aaron. Are you into the sticky, icky? As it were.
I try to avoid that as much as possible.
Don't they
Me
have
too.
penicillin shots for that?
You ain't got to lie, Craig.
You wish that I hadn't come back on.
Smoking some of that purple Urkel tonight. Purple Urkel.
Look at Frago nodding his head like, yeah.
I want
He's like, as
some,
soon as
man.
this is over.
Yeah, man. I want to try that strain when Urkel's making his own weed. You know. I mean, that's a brilliant play. It's a brilliant play. I saw the commercial with him as Urkel talking to Snoop Dogg.
Mhm.
Great.
Did I
Great
try
branding.
that?
Yeah, did I? Yeah. Only the stickiest of the icky. Fucking so great.
Wow.
So what I miss? No, I'm kidding.
Urkel selling marijuana to children now.
Mm.
So he's
That's how
dressing
far
like
we've come.
Urkel. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't want to sell marijuana to children. I do want them to be able to change their gender, though, if they want to.
Here.
They should be able to. They should. The age of 8, they should be able to decide
I say younger.
genital
I say 5.
mutilation.
Yeah, I say
They're
5.
mature enough by then to make those kind of life-altering decisions.
I'm not going to let them choose their haircut, but if they want to change their gender, that's fine.
Yeah.
If I was to buy weed from a Muppet, I would hope it was Oscar the Grouch. I think he probably has some good shit.
He looks like he's. I want to smoke Oscar the Grouch.
That's what I'm
He
talking
looks
about.
like it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take a whiff. of
Don't
the
you want to
trash
stay
can.
away from Gonzo? Like whatever Gonzo's on, you don't want that. That dude's losing his mind.
Yeah, I think he and Grover probably are running that same stash though, because Grover's a little suspect too.
Yeah, Grover's probably stoned.
Yeah, but he might have good shit. Who knows? Just not Snuffleupagus. He's a narc.
Just don't
I
rummage
thought he was
through
on
a
Smack.
trash can. A bear will come up and knock you on your ass.
It's true. I heard about that.
I'm
Dave
excited.
Chappelle said,
No, go ahead,
Chappelle
David.
said Snuffleupagus was on heroin.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, Big Bird. Yeah, it's Big
He's
Bird
on,
who's the
I
narc.
need my smack. I need my smack, bird. Give me
Yeah.
my smack.
But what is a grimace?
He's a big purple
but, you know, they all represent something. But what was the grimace? What the hell was he supposed to be?
Your belly ache.
You big purple belly ache.
Because
There
what do
you
you
go.
do? What do you do when your stomach hurts? You grimace.
Your swollen prostate.
There we go.
Yeah.
When your food goes bad, it turns purple, like the grimace.
Yeah.
Because Hamburglar, Mayor
Before they
McCheese, Fry
cook it.
Guys.
The best Muppet is King Prawn, man. The guy the little that shrimp dude that hangs around with Rizzo.
Yeah.
Muppets are awesome.
He's kind of showed up in movies. That guy's hilarious.
Is that Beaker?
Baker's awesome too.
Beaker's
Yeah,
awesome.
good.
And the Mana Mana guy. Remember that hippie singing Mana Mana? He was badass too.
Mana. Yep. Nope.
You guys seen the Muppet Bohemian Rhapsody video?
No.
The Muppets doing Bohemian Rhapsody. You got to check that out.
I feel like somebody
it's on
dosed
YouTube.
me right now. I thought I was. I feel like this whole conversation is not really happening. It's happening in my head. And
It's a dream.
yeah.
Have you
I
been?
started talking about HR Puffin stuff and all that psychedelic.
Oh God, HR Puffin stuff. That
I
was
hated that hippie shit. I hate that stuff.
They
Ethan,
started
did you get into your
doing
fan man?
those
Gave birth to
Sid and
McDonald.
Marty Croft stuff on
Sid and Marty Croft were mentally retarded, and I hate the worst. HR Puffin stuff. HR stood for hand rolled.
Yeah,
by the way.
Look at that.
And they had a
Hand
kid
rolled.
with a magic flute.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like just knock it off with that nonsense.
Electra Woman and Dinah Girl, weren't they on that same?
How about Lidsville? We tried watching
Lidsville.
Lidsville once, and I thought we were tripping. That thing was so weird.
Dude, they turned Banana Splits into a horror movie. That's
Oh yeah.
fucked up Banana Splits was. Then you had Captain Kangaroo, the Great Space Coaster.
We talked about Captain Kangaroo. We showed a little clip from that.
Did you?
Yeah, that was like because Mr. Moose. I said, I hallucinating as a child. I remember Romper Room. I remember Captain Kangaroo.
Yep.
Captain Kangaroo was this dirty, mofo, dirty old weirdo with a
Kind of Louis
Beatles
Anderson
haircut.
right?
Yeah,
Louis Anderson with a mustache.
he'd walk in and he'd yell at a moose, and the moose would try to trick him into saying ping pong balls. And once he said ping pong balls would rain from the ceiling. He'd go, oh, and ping pong. How the fuck do you get somebody to say ping pong balls every single episode? But it's like Mr. Mixyazpidalik in his name backwards.
Wow, that's really good that you said
Really strange.
I'm impressed that you said
I
that. I never knew how to say
What
that.
is it? What's his name?
Mixyazpidalik.
I thought it was Mixoplex.
Everybody says that, but everybody's wrong. I got it from Mike Carlin and somewhere else. It's the consonants. You just look at the mix, MX, Yaz, YZ, Piddle, PTL, IK, K.
Yeah.
Mixyazpidalik.
I thought it was
The original spelling in the 1940s was
Just a little
Mixoplex,
bit.
and they changed it.
I think he was on the Super Friends, and they said Mr. Mixoplex, but the Super Friends was garbage.
Stop.
No, it was. You watch
That's
Super
Alice
Friends, and
Toast,
you want to
baby.
punch. You want to punch somebody. You want to punch innocent. Super Friends is the worst show. It does not hold up over time.
Right.
It
I
is not.
pour a glass of water. Like, yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah, they were the worst Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
Dan was
But
pretty
you know,
hot.
when they introduced all the superheroes, it always cracked me up. They said, and Superman, and he goes up there and he punches a meteor, and Aquaman, King of the Seas, and he's a doo-doo-doo-doo, and then there's Batman. What does he do? He pulls up in his car and picks up the kids. Oh, that's great.
I like the
So
Wu-Tang
he's like the
Clan
chauffeur.
remix.
No, the Wonder Twins were the Osmonds.
the Wu-Tang?
It was Donnie and Marie Osmond, and that's all it was. It was a cynical
Wow,
grab.
yeah.
I never thought about that.
It is true. Donnie and Marie, Mormons. My dad painted one of their houses when I was a kid. I remember crawling through one of the Osmond boys' houses, and they cynically copied DC Comics and Hanna-Barbera, cynically stole the Osmonds and made them aliens that were gay, and they were like in purple tights, and they turned into animals and water, forms of water.
What was their little
form of
sidekick?
water.
Gleek?
Form of a gorilla holding a bucket of water.
Yeah, form of ice
That's what
slide.
it was. I'm gonna throw this bucket of water on you.
I mean,
Why
how
did we watch that?
What a bummer that would be too. If like
That's all we had.
you have twins and you're like, what can you do? I can turn into a tiger. Oh, sweet. What can you do?
I could be a bucket of shit.
Yeah.
All right.
I could turn into water.
So is it Donnie and Marie's fault? Can we blame Donnie and Marie for Snowflake? And
No,
Snake
they
Pit?
were the victims. They were
the victim,
exploited.
Yes.
How would you like it if somebody wanted to make a Billy Tucci and Deb Tucci cartoon, and you guys said no, and then they said, okay, well, we're going to make the Billy and Deb Smoochies instead.
Oh my God, I'd be infuriated.
They basically be the same thing. They look like you, except they have pointy ears, and they're wearing pink tights, and they turn into monkeys and icicles. You'd be pissed off. You'd be the victim. It wasn't. You know what I mean? It's not their fault. It's not your fault.
Agreed.
You were the victim.
My favorite is they had to announce it, like in the shape of, like they couldn't just turn into it. They had to announce it to the world.
Well, it's so kids had mantras, because you're the dumb kid who's like, I want to be the glass of water.
I'm just going to drink you and piss you out.
Yeah, I know. I'll go inside them and give them cholera.
I'm going to harden up and give them kidney stones.
Oh, stop.
That ain't no joke. See,
that is no
Close
joke.
to home.
Oof.
See,
Water is now my hero. Now I get
it's
it.
true.
Graham,
I'll
I'm
drink water.
dying to see when you write a description for this video, how you describe it.
The longest Brofessionals episode ever.
The video. Give a brief description of what your video is about. Muppets.
Death, Muppets.
No, those are all surprises because I wrote the description before we actually aired. So
Yeah,
So
now they
experience
like
Muppet.
Easter eggs for people.
that's right.
A little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been going for what 3.5 hours. You got to fill it with some kind of content.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, we can't stay on that one subject. You gotta evolve, man.
Right.
You got to move it around.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of good stuff on
Something.
crowdfunding that I missed when my computer went down. So I was kind of getting intently listening to Ethan's sales pitch and everything else, and I missed.
Well, you just have to rewatch the show.
I guess I will. If
That's true.
Good parts.
Does anybody remember the Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle show?
Yeah.
I want to talk about horrific shit.
Yeah.
The
Never heard
Hudson
of
Brothers.
If you could walk upright, you could have a variety show in the 70s.
I want to punch them in both of them. I want to punch those dirty hippies in the face. By the way, the Hudson Brothers. What's her name from American? Oh shit, what's that movie
Kate
called?
Hudson?
Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
Kate Hudson is there. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Goldie
Married to Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
We're gonna razzle dazzle you. Yes, we're gonna razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle. Get yourself down, razzle dazzle. Graham, is this one
And
coming back to you
apparently
now?
he was a bad father to Kate Hudson.
Was he really? I'll beat his ass. And if I see those two guys around, I'm coming at him with a baseball bat just for what they did in the 1970s.
And
I'm
that's-
not forgiving them. The Croft brothers.
Wait,
Any of those
definitely. I will help. I will jack a Croft brother up.
Sydney and Marty.
And yes, this is a threat.
Honey,
Go ahead, put it on
did you
Bleeding
know?
Pool. It's a
This
threat.
is like Warriors, except it's like cartoonists versus animators and
My wife, Debbie loved Donnie and Marie, right?
kids shows.
Did you know that they were the Wonder Twins? Were based off of them, and they wanted to do a Donnie and Marie cartoon. They said no, and then they kind of created them and put them in pink suits with pointy ears.
We're the Wonder Twins.
Remember?
I was just saying, she's like, what are you talking about?
Make me a tiger and then make me water.
We're the Wonder Twins.
I forget she's.
She
That is
wasn't
the
growing
right
up. Come
answer
on.
every time.
That
You know
was the
Donnie
right
Marie-
answer, yeah.
I love Donnie and Marie.
Me too.
She said, "I'm not a nerd, so I don't know."
Yeah,
I
she
know,
was
my-
not. She was
my
very
wife would
popular,
have the
my
same
wife.
reaction.
She's very popular and
Hey.
really cool.
Look at this in the messages. Someone said, not Sigmund of the Sea Monster, but Shields and Yarnell. Remember them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Weren't they like
They used to do
mime
mime stuff. Yeah.
They never talked. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
That's what I said. Anybody who had 2 legs could get a variety show back then.
If
Yeah,
it
they
wasn't
tried to
for,
give
if it
Jimmy
wasn't for,
Osmond.
if it wasn't for Shields and Yarnell, there wouldn't be pop lockers.
Really?
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Tracing it back to its roots.
Shields and Yarnell inspired Michael Jackson to do some of his moves.
Wow,
Is that
really?
right?
Well, something good came out of that then. Yeah.
And then he impressed a lot of kids.
They were mimes, right?
Yeah.
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 Who gives
I've seen it in
mimes
the
their own
70s.
show?
What was that weird that Madam and then that gay guy that did the puppet? It was like Madam was like.
Oh my God. That,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was so
Nah.
disturbing.
What's that?
Madam, remember the guy with Madam, that puppet, how horrifying
I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
disturbing she was?
Who was the lady with the little lamb chop?
Lamb chop.
She was
Lamb
hot.
chop.
Oh, Sherry Lewis.
There
Sherry
you
Lewis.
go.
Oh, I
Lamb
would
chop.
have grown up into that. I mean, that's all right.
He was adorable. Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
Sherry
I loved
Lewis
Lamb
was-
Chop when I was a kid.
Yeah, me
Did
too.
you say you wanted to have sex with lamb chop when you were? a
No,
kid?
I want to eat lamb chops.
Oh, man, I'll eat the hell out of some lamb chops.
Sherry
Mint
Lewis
jelly.
was hot. I mean, she was really hot, and
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that.
She
And there's some
Star
people
Trek
who
is-
said that she wasn't, and I'm saying she was. And you guys, you remember her from the 1980s, and she was holding up in the 1980s. But
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back and look at Sherry Lewis in the 1950s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was beautiful.
Her and that little sock puppet.
Yep. When she first started.
She was also a writer. She wrote an episode of Star Trek.
Did you really?
What?
What?
What
Did
episode?
Aaron not know? Aaron didn't know that?
I know. What
It's
episode?
it's the one with I think it's the one where they encounter those creatures that vibrate at a super high rate, and they have to slow things
A
down.
woman wrote that, did she? Yeah.
I think that's the one. Or
I
it's
think
either
it's-
that one or the Lights of Zatar.
Was it called Steely Dan?
No stamina.
Those are both. No, Lights of
What about-
Zatar was second season, but the one where they're all moving really fast, that was the third season episode.
Yeah, then I think it's that one because I think it was a 3rd season episode.
Oh, you learned something.
Gentlemen, I'm going to get
What
going.
about Willie Tyler and Lester?
Oh, I remember
Of
that.
course.
I
Yeah.
remember that one.
Hollywood Squares.
Now that I
Paul
remember.
Lynde in the middle.
Paul Lynde in the middle. Like
We
Paul
have to
Lynde.
do a Paul Lynde appreciation show.
Who was your favorite 1960s homosexual? Was it Paul Lynde? Was it Liberace? Was it Charles Nelson Riley?
Paul Lynde. Paul
I
Lynde.
like Paul Lynde
Taylor?
too.
Rip
Yeah.
yeah, Paul Lynde is. I
Paul Lynde
love
was hilarious.
Paul Lynde
Yeah.
is funny.
Oh,
Hilarious.
he
He
was
had some
great.
talent. Yeah.
Rock.
I do like Charles Nelson Riley though. He was
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
What
about
about
Lidsville?
supposed to be a really angry dude. I can't remember which one it was. It was either Riley or Paul Lynde.
I don't think it was Paul Lynde.
Paul Lynde wasn't angry.
yeah, he was always sassy.
Right. Yeah, not on on air, but in real life.
Oh,
He carried
really?
a burden, and he was a really, really angry dude. It's one of those two.
He was probably
Nasty
because of Lidsville. he had to paint his face green and wear a top hat and talk to mushrooms.
Oh, and from Lidsville.
Yeah, wasn't Charles Nelson Riley in that?
Yeah, he was in that. Yeah.
bizarre. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to get going. I got an early morning with the
I
baby.
should go too. The Jack
Yeah.
show is on, so probably
We're
we
gonna
should.
wrap this up, guys.
All right.
I'll stay till the end.
This is the end.
This
I
is
was
the
gonna
end.
say.
This is the end.
That's what I was saying. I'm not not
The
pitching.
end, my friend.
So who's hosting the Bros next week?
I guess
Are
Billy.
you stepping up next week?
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah. I gotta check Thursday nights are tough for me until later on because I got American Legion stuff and all. But maybe we could do a Friday afternoon or something.
Possibly. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that all right? Maybe do our day drinking thing. It's good. The weather's going to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a pop, maybe a cigar. We all hang out.
Right.
And my theme is going to be Hollywood's the toughest man in Hollywood.
All right.
Paul Lynde.
Actor in Hollywood history.
Paul Lynde.
Paul Lynde. There you go.
Are you talking about their image, or are you talking like
No, just like
backstory?
who was a real badass in Hollywood.
John
All right.
Wayne.
We picked three guys.
Paul Lynde.
Call in Charles Nazarali and Liberace.
You had to be tough if you were gay. So yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so we'll wrap it up, guys. Wednesday on the Storytellers, I have Mike Perkins coming in, and he'll be a fun interview. And tune into everybody's channel here and subscribe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Real quick thing about Mike Perkins, his favorite band is Aha.
Aha.
Is it?
Some Aha.
Okay.
Some Aha.
Take on me.
Yeah.
That's
Or
the
maybe you should just have, or maybe like all your questions should just be Aha songs or something. Like you just throw like, well,
I can't name more than one.
Yeah, take on me.
Did they have one?
The sun always shines on TV. They actually had 2 hits, so they were a 2-hit wonder. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
But that's you could say. You'd be like, take on me, Mike, and then just throw. Like, try to find them most obscure stuff.
Take me on.
You just use those in your conversation with him. It'll freak him out. But don't
That's funny.
I'll be gone in a day.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody for coming on, and thank you everybody in there for the super chats. And you guys all have a great night, and we will catch you again on the next Brofessionals.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
Everybody.
Thanks, Graham.